Welcome to the Grand Prix presented by Jumper, part of a massive night of competition, the Bainbridge $500,000 Grand Prix here tonight. Proud sponsors at the Winter Equestrian Festival, based here in Wellington, Florida, but with offices across the country from Orlando to Tampa to Washington to Atlanta to Dallas and to Austin, Texas. Bainbridge, one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of multifamily real estate. Thanks, Jumper, our presenting sponsor of the Grand Prix show, as we build you into the big five-star Grand Prix as well, the official stats provider of the Winter Equestrian Festival, and you can download their app today. The show also brought to you by Mars Equestrian as well, supporting across the equestrian world, a better world for horses, pets and people. And you've been following the action all the way through the Winter Equestrian Festival, courtesy too of our live stream sponsors in Dodd Technologies, an industry leader in creative design and technical support services for sports, entertainment and special events as well. Visit us online at doddtechnologies.com. And brought to you too through the USEF. They're supporting sponsor of our live stream too, and in part with support of the US Equestrian Federation and the USEF network as well. A very warm welcome, and it is a warm welcome. It's a lovely balmy Florida evening. Sun is just going over the final setting stages, and we're getting ready for our night class here for the $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix. What a night, it's an exciting night. 6 of the world's top 10 competing in the Grand Prix tonight, but it is pretty solid all the way through. An exciting group of combinations we're going to be talking through, analysing and hopefully giving you a few pointers as to who might be the winner. It's been an amazing few weeks of competition here. Nations Cup, of course, last week as well. And to take you through, hopefully with plenty of advice here, I have a fantastic lineup, I'm delighted to say. And alongside me, Olympic silver medalist now, Carl Cook. Carl, delighted to see you.
It's great to be here.
Hot foot from California now. You're here in Wellington for the rest of the season now.
Yep, till the end.
Excellent. Charlotte Jacobs on the back of, on the winning team of the Nations Cup just last week. You are literally hot foot back in after finishing third in a Grand Prix elsewhere this afternoon.
Yeah.
Great to have you back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. Raced back just for you.
Excellent. And Captain Brian Cannan as well. Brian, fantastic run for you so far this season. Been an exciting year of competition here in the 5 stars. Looking forward to seeing what happens tonight.
Yeah, it's really exciting tonight. 6 of the world's top 10 in the Grand Prix. Some riders hungry for a win tonight, so exciting viewing.
Excellent. So we are going to take you through, as I say, the lineup of those competing here tonight. 40 in the first round of competition here, and we've already had several big 5-star shows here in Wellington, and it was back onto what we call week 5, the Fidelity Grand Prix to start things off, and then just 2 weeks ago to the Lugano $500,000 5-star Grand Prix there too. Now, it was nice and easy to keep track of who the winner was because it was the same person. Kent Farrington and Gray have been on amazing form, now up to number 2 in the world, and is really starting to challenge. We heard from him earlier on this week on WEF Weekly talking to Henrik von Eckermann, the current world number 1. Kent is getting close to him. Carl, to win 1 is impressive, to win 2 back-to-back is more than that.
It's super impressive. You know, he's on such a roll, he's got such a string of horses, and he's got the confidence behind with each matchup, with each pairing. And, you know, once you get on that roll, it could feel like whatever you do, it's going to work.
It's going to work. Well, it certainly does work. And Gray was the ride for those two now. He's made a horse change to Knight and Miler, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But there was some of the lineup with the top 3 finish in the end for Lily Keenan. Again, we talked to her last week as well. Leading into this, of course, earlier on this week is the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup, the Grand Prix qualifier. Now, the speed class also counted towards that, but we're really going to focus on the Grand Prix qualifier here. And our top 3 from earlier on this week as well. Good battle in there too. Alan Wade, our course designer this week from Ireland, and finishing in 3rd place there was Spencer Smith and Keeneland. Charlotte, these have looked, again, so solid. They were on the Dublin winning Grand Prix team, Nations Cup team last year as well.
Yeah, I mean, Spencer loves this horse. He thinks really highly of him. I agree with him. I think it's a fantastic horse. He did some great things last year. He's had a good season so far. Unlucky 1 down in the first 5-star, WEF 5. Unlucky 1 down in the Grand Prix as well. So it's going to be fun to watch him tonight, and hopefully he has another podium finish.
Excellent. Okay, well, let's take a look at a former winner, in fact, dual former winner of this class as well, in Daniel Blumen. Now, Daniel, former winner here with L'Adriano Z. Here in the qualifier riding Gemma W, is going to be riding Corby VV here with us tonight as well. Brian, Daniel has built a very quick partnership with this horse. They went very well in the World Cups at the tail end of last year. Have you had a chance to see them much?
It looks like a really exciting horse, and I think he's really thinking about Los Angeles for this horse, and that's the trajectory it's on. And certainly you can't argue with that right now. It's ticking all the boxes, doing everything you'd like it to see do. So exciting horse for Daniel. And
as we've seen from the last couple of Grand Prix, speed is of the essence as well. This looks like a pair that would have that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Daniel's still working on rideability at these bigger jumps, but I think when that comes, he's really going to be a quick horse in the future.
Carl, talking form, I mean, you've won 5-star Grand Prix here. He's coming in having won this one twice. They do start to feel a little bit. Do you feel a bit more like at home walking into that Grand Prix?
Sure, you've done it before, so you have that feeling of confidence, which is great. But on a different horse, it's a whole other question. You know, he'd had L'Adriano for years and years, and you have a bond.
Yeah.
And when you come in on a new horse, doesn't matter how successful you were in the past, that new partnership is something different, and it brings a different energy, and it doesn't feel the same.
Charlotte, you've been up against them so far this season as well. You've seen them in action. I think we were up in Traverse City when they came out as well there. What are your thoughts on Daniel Blumen and Corby?
I mean, I think she's an amazing mare. She's quirky, but he's taken his time with her and really produced her properly. And now he has a great owner in Abigail Wexner. And I saw her in Traverse City as a 9-year-old, jump the World Cup there, and she jumped unbelievable. And Daniel thinks so highly of her. So it'll be exciting to see how she progresses through this year. And like Brian said, leading up to LA. So yeah, it's an exciting partnership.
And Brian, you were there in the action in the WEF Challenge Cup earlier on this week as well. What were your thoughts on the course and what it was like?
I thought compared to other weeks, it was a bit on the softer side, and that was reflected in the numbers in the jump off. And I think looking forward to tonight, Alan will build a more difficult course tonight for everybody.
Yeah, we're going to talk about. I know you've all had a little walk around there as well. We'll talk about that in a few minutes' time from that point of view. Let's go on to the winner of the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup this week, and that was Darragh Kenny, and 0K. Newer ride for him, and is one that's been developing through the season. He's said in the interviews already he's really testing out the buttons so far. Brian, from your point of view, you've watched them in action now.
Yeah, I mean, Darragh is such a clinical rider. He puts a lot of thought into the horses he targets at each class, and I mean, he's really done everything correct with this horse so far, and it's exciting. A new partnership, it's great.
Looking forward to seeing how they got on, because he has stayed with 0K, interestingly enough, from that point of view. Carl, you like a mare. What have you made of her?
Oh, great. I mean, I remember when I walked the course, and it shows something about the partnership that he hit that 6 down the first line.
Yeah.
You didn't have a great turn to fence 1, and the confidence to run down that 6 and make that turn after fence 2 was something, and he did so smooth, so predictably like a mature partnership. And I think that shows not only Darragh's skill, but how closely they, feel each other, and how well that they understand each other even in a short time.
Charlotte?
Yeah, I mean, Darragh, he's a real technician. I spent a lot of time with him when he was at North Run. But it's going to be interesting to see how they go tonight. I've just started seeing this mare this year. I think she's great. She's scopy, she's careful, and with a rider like Darragh, there's no limit to what they can do.
Absolutely. So they were top of the WEF Challenge Cup earlier on this week, and we caught up with Darragh. So let's see what he had to say directly about that success.
Trying to be getting to know the mare a lot better through circuit here, because I only got her one show before circuit started. She has a big stride, so a lot of the lines were connected, so I could use her big stride and see if I could not make mistakes. She's quite special in her own way, but in the ring she really just wants to do her best. Maybe sometimes she tries too hard, but it's always in the right way. She's trying to do her best, and that's what I really like about her. She's a little bit sensitive, a little bit tense sometimes, but for the most part she's just a little misunderstood. She really wants to be the best she can be. Like, I've kind of taken my time and really not rushed any of the horses, put, you know, their health foremost before everything. And I think, you know, it's starting to show. Like Eddie Blue was super here the other week in the Grand Prix. Horse felt amazing, and this horse feels really good now. Feels like I'm getting to know her really well. She'll still be green on Saturday night, but you know, I feel like the partnership was building, which is great. These classes, they're so competitive. There's so many brilliant riders. One day it's me, next day it's Ken, you know, the next day it's Richie Vogel, Henrik van Eckerman, McLean Ward, you know. It's just week in, week out, you know, like you look at Spencer Smith, Daniel Blumen, you know, they're like so close to you. It's just how competitive this circuit is here.
Will they go on to win the Grand Prix tonight? We'll have to wait and see. And it's a big night with that $500,000 on the table now for the Bainbridge Grand Prix. The prize money up for the 5 stars this season here in Wellington as well. Now, qualifying top 30 came from the Adequan Webb Challenge Cup. Also top 10 from our speed class from the Bainbridge Speed here on Friday. And top of the class there in first place was First Lady for Robin Parskew's owner, but in the saddle was McLean Ward, and this is what they do so very, very well. Fantastic round from them once again. They pick off class after class, and McLean very much in the frame for qualifying, and of course one of our world top 10 competing here this week. Well documented that he was out with injury for part of the early part of the season, is coming out strong and hungry, really raring to go into our closing part of the season here in Wellington. So McLean Ward, First Lady, in first spot on Friday. And so we're going to take a little breather and be back after this break. And our show today brought to you by Jumper, the official stats provider for the Winter Equestrian Festival. You can download their app today, and also brought to you by Mars Equestrian as well. Our thanks to Mars, a better world for horses, pets and people. And our presenting sponsor of the $500,000 Grand Prix here tonight, the Bainbridge companies, who are based here in Wellington, Florida, with offices in Orlando, Tampa, Washington and across the country. Bainbridge is one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of multifamily real estate. See you in a minute.
Bainbridge is a fully integrated multifamily real estate company that has developed and acquired more than 43,000 units, representing $8.1 billion in transactions since its inception. With over 650 associates nationally, Bainbridge engages in virtually every step of the real estate process, from development and construction to acquisition and disposition, asset management and third-party management of multifamily real estate. Bainbridge is the 20th largest multifamily developer and 19th largest multifamily builder in the United States. Our team of experienced and knowledgeable professionals are devoted to creating exceptional living experiences for all of our residents and building lasting and mutually beneficial relationships with our partners and clients. Bainbridge is headquartered in Wellington, Florida, with offices and apartment communities in Florida, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, Maryland, and Texas. To learn more, visit www.thebainbridgecompanies.com.
Jumper Grand Prix. Previewing what is ahead for our Bainbridge Grand Prix here tonight, and our thanks to Jumper, the official stats provider of the Winter Equestrian Festival, and you can download the app today. Thank you to Jumper, and also to the USCF network, and to bringing you all of the live stream throughout the Winter Equestrian as well through the USCF network too. Thanks to them. And we are getting into our stats and running down of what we might be pointed towards as a potential winner, but who knows? 40 of the best having qualified into our class here, and it could come from any direction. But let's delve into our stats and take a look at each of the riders, and we're going to start with a man who's won 2 5-star Grand Prix already this season in Kent Farrington. So let's take a look at a few of the stats around Kent. But Myla is the horse that he's got tonight, so not Greya, that he's won the 2 previous Grand Prix on. He's now world number 2, partnership together with Myla, some 13 months. Starts at 160, fewer of those at 11 from that point of view. This is a little shot of Greya here. Carl, he's making a change here.
Well, it's smart for him. You know, he's had so much success with Greya and his other horses. You know, it's time for Myla, who he's had for 13 months. You know, she's there for that role. She's game. And it makes sense for him to save Greya for week 12, which is most likely the plan. And it's great for him to test out Myla. See what he's got going, see what's working, what's not working. Because, you know, it's a long year and he's got a lot of goals for the rest of the year.
And she's turned 10 now. You know, we're into that time of year. Brian, from that point of view, it's always interesting at this first part of 2025. They come out of their 9-year-old years. You go, how much do I just start to just test the water, I guess?
Yeah, she's been going really well, so I think this is as good a Grand Prix as any to test her out. I'm assuming she's a good water jumper. That's the only thing that's a bit different in this Grand Prix is there's no open water under the lights, and that can be a bit difficult for horses, but I'm sure she's well schooled over that with Kent. And you know, Alan Wade is going to build a nice course, and it'll be a good experience either way for Myla.
And Charlotte, I feel today is going to be a little bit more of an uphill battle for Kent.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Kent is he always has a plan. He's always the man with the plan, and I think I'm sure he was aiming Myla towards this Grand Prix from the get-go, and so far his plan has gone to plan all season. So he's won, I don't know, 2 4-star Grand Prix, 2 5-star Grand Prix, multiple other ranking classes. So I think, you know, Myla's ready for this, and it'll be nice to see how she goes tonight.
It's a very technical plan. This is where we're going and we win.
Yes, yes.
But you're right, and Carl, to come to you on this, I mean, what people don't see is how strategically, and Kent is an absolute master at this, of how much they plan their year. I've talked to a number of riders from Ben Mayer to Henrik and everybody else this year. They know 90% of where they're aiming at this season.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember when Kent was bringing along Greya. You know, he just started doing her in 2023 in some 5-stars, but he wouldn't rush things. He would have a time fault here or there. In the jump-offs, he wouldn't rush it because he himself felt potential there.
Yes.
And he knew in his mind that she was great. And so he was very patient, very methodical. And at that time, people weren't really paying attention to Greya. It was like, oh, it's just another horse of Kent's. And then now, 2 5-stars already this year, and it just looks obvious.
Yeah.
But that comes with so much planning in the years, you know, before, and I think that's what you're seeing with Myla.
Excellent.
You know, that's the same role that Greya was in a couple years ago.
Okay, we're looking forward to seeing Myla here tonight with Kent, and we're looking forward to seeing McLean Ward as well, also out of our World Top 10. Previous winner of this Grand Prix on the Great Sapphire, for those following through the stats. World number 7 as he is now with Ilex, partnership of 10 months now, and 16 starts. Over 1 metre 60 and some serious starts at 1 metre 60 from that point of view. We'll talk about that in a second. 44% clear rate for McLean, and for the 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Now added that silver medal with this ride. He was second in the Aachen Grand Prix with this horse as well, Carl. Of course, you got to see them up close and personal.
Yeah, I mean, I showed on teams with him last year. I was in this jump off with him as well last year. And, you know, sure, McLean had a little injury earlier in the season, but if anything about McLean, he's hungry and he's so driven. And over the past year, he's gotten so comfortable with Ilex. All I can say is, you know, with McLean this hungry, watch out.
And Ilex has been a really interesting horse because it was a horse we saw come out in the Nations Cup with the rider for Brazil on board, stayed with the owners, now gone to McLean with the ride, and last year that big success there. It's been a really interesting story to follow.
Yep, and especially early on in the circuit last year, you know, watching McLean bring Ilex along, jump a 150, do a 4-star, you know, it was interesting to watch him get to know the horse, and then week 12 comes out double clear second in. And then the rest of the year followed, and you know, when he brings Ilex out, you know, you saw the clear round percentage, 44%. They are very likely to jump clear.
Charlotte, we're going to stay with US wins.
Yeah, It'll be interesting to see. I mean, the start list is absolutely stacked tonight. McLean, I think, looks amazing, and the horse looks really fresh. I saw him the first day. I haven't seen him since Geneva, where he had the last fence down in the Grand Prix. So it'll be interesting to see, and I have a good feeling Elix is going to be looking good tonight.
Looking good, and a partnership that look good because they are the Olympic Championship gold medal individual winning partnership is Christian Kukuk and Checker back in the frame here tonight. Winners earlier on this season in the NetJets Grand Prix, close in our other 5-star Grand Prix as well. Currently ranked as number 6 in the world, partnership of 4 years now. 66 starts at 1m60, still a 52% strike rate from that point of view. Brian, that's pretty impressive stats still.
It's really impressive, and I'm always amazed watching Checo go around. He does everything so economically. He makes those jumps look small. I think he jumped meter 10 the same as he jumps meter 60. And in a jump off, he's just incredibly fast. He can drop strides everywhere, be so quick in the turns. And I think he's going to be really hard to beat tonight if he gets into the jump off.
Looking at them here, what's your take on Checker?
I mean, Christian looks where he wants to go, and the horse is almost a stride ahead of him. He's also looking. So it's, that was a difficult turn into the double that week. I mean, and he's just going to be really hard to beat if he gets into the jump off, I think, And
from his point of view, it's going to be really interesting with a number of them in the draw tonight, because the likes of McLean, Ward, Ben Mayer, there's a whole group in here, Henrik von Eckermann, Ashley Bond, Harry Charles, all come in the first half of the draw.
Yeah.
Now, I know Christian likes to win from the front.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens tonight, but it's going to be good.
Carl, you're nodding there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the jump off track, I think suits this horse. There is a tight rollback, but there is a lot of that straight line speed where Christian is very good. I mean, he's great in all situations, but I think that straight line speed is really great. And I think that really helps him. He jumps clear. I think he could be quite dangerous.
Yep, excellent. Okay, they are quite dangerous. The Olympic champions, Christian Kukuk and Checker there in the frame as well tonight. Let's take a look at Darragh Kenny and 0K. We've seen how well they did in the qualifier here earlier on this week. Now he's staying with that ride too. He will go last because he jumps himself into that position. So he goes last in round 1. And for them, the world rank number 23 now, 4 months together, so not too long together. This partnership, 2 starts at 1m60, so different equation here. 50% clear round rate. Charlotte, 0K. We've talked about this a little bit so far. This is the next little step up.
Yeah, I think tonight will be a big ask, and it should show a lot about the partnership. Thankfully, it's Darragh on board, and he has so much experience. Obviously, they've only had 2 starts at 160 or above, but yeah, tonight should be interesting. It'll be fun to watch. And
Brian, from the point of view of watching Darragh in action, he can take a horse. I mean, you could see from her ability there, she's not sort of short of scope to go to this next level.
She's got a lot of scope. She's a slower mover, and I think Darragh's going to need to be conscious of that in the first round for the time allowed. And again, I mean, you can never underestimate Darragh, but to see him beating Checker or Ilex in the jump off, it's hard to see. But I think, you can never underestimate Darragh.
Excellent. Okay, well, Darragh Kenny, as I say, will go last. Carl, from that point of view, were they in the jump off, they would have early challengers like Christian Kukuk, potentially Ben Mayer, Henrik von Eckermann, of course, we haven't even looked at, with King Edwards in there as well, who's been coming back, finished top 5 in the last Grand Prix as well. And Henrik said this week on WEF Weekly, which if you haven't watched it already do, he explains it himself. But, they've had a quiet move back into the big time there.
Yeah, and King Edward and Iron, they've been together for so long, and they've had unbelievable success. But what's really great about their partnership is, you can't just keep going, straight. Even if it's successful, you got to give some time off. You got to reevaluate. You got to come back and try to refresh the relationship, which is what they did at the end of last year. Top 5 earlier this year in, week 7?
Yep.
And I think that's a great thing for a partnership, to kind of have a new understanding of each other, who have known each other for so long.
Excellent. We'll see how Darragh gets on. We'll see how Henrik gets on, our world number 1. And also another we've pulled out of the pack is Elise Okun, the US rider, who's been on a number of the US teams now. And Elise has been going very solidly indeed. Former winner of Grand Prix out in Europe too. Ranking 132 right now, but I think that's very much on the rise. Partnership that's been coming up over a long period of time now, and 6 years there, 24 partnership starts at 1.60 m, 24% clear rate. Running horse called Gelvira here that she's ridden on the US team. She's gone really solidly so far, Charlotte, from that point of view, and that's where we've pulled her into the pack here.
Yeah, I've seen this horse a lot with Lisi. She's a quirky mare, but she's so special, and she's always believed in her a lot. I saw her in Michigan. I think she was third in the World Cup qualifier there, and I do think she's aiming her towards World Cup finals. So this might be one of the last Grand Prix she jumps with her before that. But yeah, she's so special. She's so light off the floor. She's careful. She's scopy. She's brave. She really has that fight that you want in a mare as well. So it'll be nice to see. I've seen her a bit in Ocala this year, but I haven't really seen her here too much. So I'm sure she was aiming her towards this Grand Prix, and it'll be fun to watch.
And Nations Cup in Rome, Carl, from that point of view?
Yeah, and you know, Elise has been working with this horse for a long time, 6 years, and I think that's really helped her so much come along. You know, and you don't see a lot of that work until all of a sudden it starts to work. You know, she's been working so hard, and all of a sudden we're like, yeah, she's doing great. But it's all this stuff that she's built up over the years, and it's great to see. She's a great team member, and I'm so happy for her.
Brian, they think partnerships happen overnight, don't they?
No, they don't. Like Carl said, she's been working away hard, and you know, the fruits of her labour are really shining through now. She's got a lot of other good horses too that she's been very consistent on, and very good results. And you know, it's great to see Lisi going so well. And I think she's due a big win in the next few months. You know, she's really, you know, she's deserved it.
But I would not be surprised to see her
I
on the
wouldn't be
podium
surprised
tonight.
either. I really wouldn't. Yeah.
Okay, so Elise Oaken, there's her stats. Two others that I'm going to bring into the frame, and first up is going to be for Australia. Jumped well in the Challenge Cup too, and that is Tyser Irwin. Jumped to the Olympics last year, and with Mike and Wendy Smith's Hialita. From that point of view, she's been jumping clear after clear, really good solid rounds from that side of things. Coming to you, Charlotte, from this point of view, I've been really impressed. Tyser's gone another gear.
Yeah, I love this horse. She's so light off the floor. She's bouncy in her canter. She's kind of a girl's dream horse, in my opinion. So it'll be exciting. It'll be exciting to see. She was clear with a time fall in one of the bigger classes earlier in the year. So yeah, again, it's going to be an exciting pair to watch in the next few months, and I'm looking forward to seeing her tonight.
And Brian, this is the thing, is also the riders that start consistently putting themselves there. We always sort of focus on who won, but we're talking about a rider that I've seen a lot go top 10.
Sure, I mean, you know, Christian, McLean Ward, Kent, they've all put their miles in quietly, that, you know, and now they're really successful riders. But here's a rider putting her, you know, putting her mileage in, going into the ring, being very consistent, and, you know, it takes work, and she's doing it, and at some point she's going to be really successful, you know.
Excellent, good. And let's also take a look at a young lady that's been impressing so far this season in Nina Malavé of France, who has been top 3 in the Grand Prix this season already as well. And she comes into the frame tonight. She's won into the U25 series this season too, and also went up to Ocala the other day and won 3 classes as well. Charlotte, you're nodding because, I mean, she also had a fall last week too, and she's been strapped up this week, and she's been straight back in there and said, don't you worry, I'm going.
Yeah, she's a brave. I love watching Nina ride. I think she's so classical, forward, French. Like, it's beautiful, and especially in a jump off or a speed round, she's so forward, and you can tell the horses just love to jump for her. But yeah, I mean, she had that fall last week that I was there. It was scary, and you know, tonight has to face on to the open water again, but I think she's brave, and she knows this horse really well, so, you know, fingers crossed it goes her way tonight and we can see her on the podium.
Excellent. Well, we wish her the very best here tonight. Looking forward to Nina. She goes late in. She goes fourth from last because she rides Dynasty de Beaufort. So she obviously went well in the Challenge Cup. She finished in 4th place there, riding for the Rain family. And I was talking to the owners last night as well. I mean, trying to hold her back from I'm going back in the ring is a hard thing.
It's what you want.
Yeah.
You know, you can look at a fall. We've all had falls, and it doesn't matter how hard the fall was. It matters how you think about it.
Yeah.
And to her, she hits hard. She gets back and says, okay, well, we keep going. And it's just, in that moment, it feels normal. Where people watching from the outside, they're like, well, okay, well, let's maybe pause here. But to her, I'm sure she just got up and was like,
yeah.
I mean, that wasn't great, but all right, I got more horses to ride. You got to keep going.
She was very much like that.
And it sounds like minimizing it, but that's really what happens in your head.
I do think she wanted to actually jump the 4-star Grand Prix on Sunday too, and they were like, the horse is already out of FEI, sorry, you can't do that. But she's brave girl.
She's great. We're going to be heading into a break, but before that, we're going to remind you some previous winners of the Grand Prix here as well. For this Bainbridge Grand Prix tonight, Abdul Saeed, twice winner of this Grand Prix, has literally come back in this week. He's going to be in the field here tonight as well. Here's him winning back with Bandit Savoie going back into the Grand Prix wins. Daniel Blumen, two-time winner as well. Luciana Lossio was last year's big winner. A little bit of a surprise for some, but she'd again been ticking along very well from that point of view. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they fare, Luciano and Lady Louise. We've also got a nice feature catching up with her later on tonight as well. So stay with our coverage for that post this show before the Grand Prix itself gets underway. But wishing the Brazilian the very best tonight. Wonderful partnership there. Really just the one big horse at that level too, which is really interesting. So our thanks to our live stream presenting sponsors, Dodd Technologies, an industry leader in creative design and technical support services for sports, entertainment and special events. And you can visit them at their website at doddtechnologies.com. And to Bainbridge Companies, our sponsors here tonight with offices across the country from Florida to Texas to North Carolina. Bainbridge is one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of multi-family real estate as well. Now, thanks to Jumper 2, our presenting sponsor of this show. Here it is the stats provider to the Winter Equestrian Festival. Download the app. We'll see you in a minute.
Pet parents has used their pet's name as their password.
System hacked. System hacked. System hacked.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way to show your love.
We fly horses anywhere around the world, whether it is a hobby horse or it's an Olympic champion. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely, in best of health, and in the quickest possible of time. We understand the business better than anybody else. We do not leave any stone unturned, and we are staffed by horse people from every layer of the company. We give horses wings around the world, across the globe, or across the street.
I think I found them.
Really?
Making your dog your ring bearer is one way to show your love.
Car part. It's just a car part, look it.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way.
Something like the US Open, it would be incredible to have in your trophy room.
It was typically the hardest Grand Prix of this winter season down here.
Trying to get to the highest level.
As long as I don't make a mistake, he can do this very easily.
Getting closer, I would like to think, so I'm there to compete.
How about the great here, Spencer Smith for the USA?
Obviously it's a sport, but at the same time, the only reason I do this is because I love horses. Hi, buddy.
He's really been an incredible horse.
Everyone wants to win a Rolex Grand Prix.
I think adding the US Open in a great new initiative, and I think it's only going to bring more excitement and more prestige.
More ground line, please.
First jump is nice.
It's really all leading towards the US Open.
The person that stamps their name on it is going to, kind of go down in history, and we all want to do that.
Well, welcome back, and coming into the closing stages as we get ready for tonight's big $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix. An exciting night ahead of competition. We've already taken a few of the runners and riders of who to expect of our big competition tonight. And we're going to take a little bit of a discussion too on, we've talked about riders, Abdul Saeed, twice winner of this Grand Prix, the likes of Christian Kukuk in form, Kent Farrington in form from that point of view. Carl, form, how much does it matter?
I think it's how the rider perceives their form. And the more confidence they feel from those rounds, and the less they feel like, oof, that was a bit lucky. That confidence you get is so powerful as opposed to, being surprised. And the more you can carry that confidence, the more the success just flows. And so that's what I look for tonight.
Charlotte, from that point of view, if you're in a jump off and you're on form, does it help?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to have, this sport is so mental in so many ways, and you have to have that belief in yourself and your horse, and you have to think you can do it in order to do it. So that's a huge part of it.
Brian, different parts of your career, when you're on a roll, people say you're on a roll, but actually it really does ring true, doesn't it?
It sure does, yeah. I mean, when you're on a roll, everything seems so easy, But I mean, we're looking at Henrik von Eckermann here tonight, and he's arguably not having the best season so far with King Edward. So he's not particularly on form, but I think he's going to show a lot of grit and determination tonight, and that's also important to try and be mentally tough. And if you're not in good form, to go out and do it. To
use a racing parlance, if you like, they're trending in the right direction from that side of things.
Exactly.
But they are certainly doing that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Carl, for those that are coming through here, like I say, I mean, Abdul Saeed, going to be very interesting for him. Like I say, he's a two-time winner, but he's on a horse that is newer to this. So as much as we go, oh, he's your man, there are many, many different factors in our sport.
Exactly. Sure, he's won it twice before, but the fact it's a new partnership and not the same partnership as in the past, you can't really equate similarly as you can, say, like car racing, where you've won it twice, you're at the same constructor, all that, there's more predictability there. Where when a rider has a new horse, the more experienced ones get to know them quicker, but it still is a big reset.
And Brian, we've occasionally seen those ones that come out and it's almost like the magic happens straight away, and sometimes it falls off a little bit afterwards. But that is something that can happen, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's also very interesting, So sometimes you get a new partnership, an experienced horse, an experienced rider, and lightning strikes right away and they win a big class and you don't hear from them again, and that also happens, So it's that's what makes the sport so interesting. It's like Carl says, they're not motor cars, they're different courses every time. You're dealing with an animal, so it's all it's an interesting dynamic.
It's going to be very interesting because, as I say, there are 6 of the world's top 10. 5 of them, Charlotte, come in the first half of the draw here, because this draw is based on the Grand Prix qualifying earlier on this week. Only Kent Farrington is in the latter part of the draw.
Yeah,
I think that is going to have an influence here somewhere.
Yeah, and I like this new way of doing it. I like that it's not a random draw. I like that you have to qualify, and that bases your start order on Saturday night. But you have a few pre-qualified, which I don't think any of them are going early this week. But like you were saying, Christian had to go first a few times. It worked out for him, of course. But yeah, it definitely plays a part.
Okay, so we may see some early clears with some big players coming in the first half. We also got the strongest coming out of the qualifier in the second half, so who knows. We will get to our picks. Who our riders think will be winning tonight, walking away with the trophy. So I'm going to head down, Captain Brian Cannan. Brian, who's your pick for tonight's big success?
My pick is Henrik. I think that he's hungry. He's like Carl was saying earlier, he's taken a step back with the horse. His last 5-star Grand Prix, he was very clever, gave the horse a nice schooling round. So I think tonight he's got Kent Farrington breathing down his neck. He's 29 points in the difference now in the world rankings. So Henrik's not going to want to give that up too easily. So I think he's going to really be trying tonight.
The difference, as Henrik put it to us earlier this week, is this.
Yes.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
It's tiny from that point of view. Let's go to you, Charlotte. Charlotte, who's your pick for tonight?
I like James Cancruz and Shane Sweetnam. He let that horse down a little bit November, December, sort of brought him back in January. Jumped a 4-star Grand Prix out on the grass and was second, and then was second up in the World Cup qualifier in Ocala. So tonight should be interesting. His first night back into the lights in Wellington. I know he's won over Alan Wade's courses before, so I think tonight the odds might be in his favor.
It's strategically going towards
Yeah.
Shane Sweetnam. He has been on the podium here, of course, with James Cancruz before now as well. Carl Cook, which direction are you going in?
I have to go with the gold medalist. I got to go with Christian Cook and Checker. They're great. They know how to win it. We've seen it the previous years, and I think it's time they're going to do it.
Okay, and I've picked out, again, no big surprise, but McLean Ward. McLean Ward and Ilix tonight. So those are our picks. I've gone for McLean, Carl Cook's gone for Christian Kukuk, Charlotte Jacobs, they're going for Shane Sweetenham, and Brian is going for Henrik von Eckermann. We will see how they fare. But I think, just to sort of start wrapping this up now, Carl, this to me looks like the strongest field so far this season.
Yeah, and it's in a really cool time of the year. You know, week 5, week 7, people are getting set up. Week 9, you're starting to see how people are trying to think about the rest of their year. And so it's a really interesting week, and that's why it gets stronger. And I think you got a lot of people coming out here really, really hungry. No one's coming out here saying, I just want a school. They're here to win.
Absolutely. Charlotte, I think this could be a full-on gloves-off Grand Prix tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, you know, week 9, and then you have Ocala week 11, and then week 12 here. I think the big guns are starting to come out and really starting to play, so it'll be a fun class to watch.
Looking forward to that. Brian, what's your opinion?
I mean, I agree with everything the guys have said. I mean, it's a great track tonight. We've got some of the best riders and horses in the world. They want to have a good run tonight, and it kind of sets up the trajectory for the rest of their season here.
Excellent. Yeah. It's okay. We are looking forward to this. The money has been raised. It's $500,000. That was what our season finale Grand Prix was last time. Now we've got 2 Grand Prix for that, and $750,000 at the end of the season for the Rolex US Equestrian Open Grand Prix as well. Carl, this is just that final step towards that.
Yes, it is. It's really important to get people that confidence, to teach them what they need to do for week 12, and to kind of set the stage for what's going to be a great finale.
This is going to be a serious Grand Prix. It remains for me to say, Brian, Charlotte, Carl, thank you very, very much. Have a lovely evening, all of you. know you're going to go and find somewhere nice to go and sit and watch from that point of view. Go and watch the action up close. You can watch all the action with us as well. Niall Nassar is going to be joining me over in commentary as well to take you through tonight's $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix as well. So looking forward to that, and what we've got coming up is going to be the best in the world doing battle here in Wellington once again. Last year was an amazing rundown for Luciana Lossio and Lady Louise, and we caught up with her as well as part of our Origin Stories series as well. Thank you to Origin Investments for their support there too, exploring the origins of riders and their story behind some of those partnerships. And Luciana's a very interesting one indeed. Really one top horse and one big win, and that was last year here into this big Week 9 Grand Prix. See you very shortly for our Bainbridge Grand Prix here tonight.
I'm Luciana Lossio, and this is my origin story. I began riding horses when I was 6 years old. My dad used to have a farm, and then I went to a club to take lessons, and that's where it began. I completed all the youngest categories, and then I stopped to go dedicate myself to my work and my studies. And I stayed without riding horses for 15 years. And then I came back with 35 years old. Now I'm 50, so it's been 15 years that I came back to the arena, to the horses, and riding since then. I am a lawyer, and when I was 35 years old, in the same year that I came back riding horses, I was nominated to be a justice in Brazil. I was chosen by the Supreme Court of Brazil and nominated by the president. And then I stay in the court for 6 years. During February, I go back and forth to Brazil. I travel at Sunday night and come back here to Wellington Wednesday or Thursday night. It depends on my agenda in Brazil. So it's been hard, but I'm happy with that. So I can do the both things. I need to work, and I want to ride my horses. Lady Louise, she's a very intelligent mare, a very good heart mare, courage. Everything I ask her, I think we combine ourselves, and she trusts me a lot. She's a very economic in the jumps because she's very intelligent. She makes the necessary effort to go through the jumps. We've been together for 7 years. So we kind of know each other a little bit. Our federation sent us to here, to Wellington, to stay for the whole season. So in 2022, it was like a a very important year for me because it was a kind of a division, you know? I became here to the international shows, to all this atmosphere that is Wellington with the best riders in the world, the competitions. And then I got successful here, and it was such a nice, unbelievable thing for me. Because when I went to the arena, I saw all the best riders right there. And I was fascinated only to watch them. And since then I was there competing with them. It was my first 5-star. All of a sudden we were there and we made a clear round in the first round. And when I went to the jump off, before me, they had Neo Nassar and Carl Cook, and they were so fast. Lady Louise was fantastic, and everything went perfect, you know, in the course. When I jumped the last one that I saw in everywhere, that I was winning, that I would beat the time, all my family and friends, when I got the last line, you know, and I was galloping in the arena, and I was looking and I saw them. That was a fantastic energy, because since I ride horses, my parents were always with me. Now I lost my dad, I was really young, and my mom also cannot be here with me anymore. But my friends and my family there, it reminds me the old days that I always had the support, you know, of the ones that I love and that I like. So that was a very magic moment that I told Dad, I'm here, can you believe that? I'm here in the US winning a big show. So that was the most fantastic feeling. It's very special because when you get in the international arena, it's such a magic place. You get in there and I look all the lights, all the people, all the crowds, and it reminds me of very special moments. It's very special, very important, very nice to be here again.
At Palm Beach Equine Clinic, we know your horse is not only a superior athlete, but a part of your family. With more than 30 veterinarians, 4 board-certified surgeons, and the most technologically advanced equine imaging suite in the country, our team has all the skill sets required for accurate diagnosis and successful treatment. Palm Beach Equine Clinic is committed to providing exceptional service and care for both patients and owners. Visit equineclinic.com today to make us a part of your team.
Among the many key figures in the sport, none are more critical than the course designer. Tonight's designer, Alan Wade from Ireland, is one of the world's finest. Alan is recognised as one of the top course designers across the globe, having designed the 2017 World Cup Finals and here in America the 2018 World Equestrian Games as well. This is the story how one of the best designers around challenges the world's greatest riders here at the Winter Equestrian Festival. Welcome to the WEF 5-Star Course Design Series, presented by Fidelity Investments.
The competition is always of a very high level here at Wellington at all grades, and especially at the 5-star level we have a lot of top riders and a lot of top horses, so competition is always fierce here. We grew up, Aga Khan Day in Dublin was the pinnacle of show jumping in Ireland and still is. It's the most important day of show jumping in Ireland for the fans and the people at home. So I have a great love for Nations Cup jumping. Well, my father used to ride show jumping many years ago and was very successful at it. He was probably the most knowledgeable horseman that I have ever met. He passed away in 2018, I still miss him. I still ask him questions. When I get dealt to ask questions by some people that are not as knowledgeable, I talk to him and I know the answer that he would give them. So I wasn't quite a good enough rider for Tommy. He didn't actually ever tell me that, but I knew. But then there was always Shortfoot help. I was building courses with him from a very young age. I'm over 40 years building courses, but I helped him at the local shows and the local gymkhanas and helped the other local course designers, and I got into it that way, and I found I had a liking for it, and I do like it. I like course design, and I like taking the time to have the things the way I like it, and having the arena looking good and having horses, trying to get horses to jump better during the week. And I like looking at young horses and old horses. I do like course design. So at 5-star level, everyone knows what to expect. So all these tests will be involved in the course tonight. I'm more so looking at the type of horses that we have available. I build for who I feel we have horsepower-wise more than rider-wise. I like them to do everything. I ask them to lengthen in places, but if I ask them to lengthen, I'll ask them to shorten. I like to reward horses that are controllable and rideable, and riders that are able to shorten the horses and lengthen them at will, without making it look too obvious. It's only slight subtle changes of distances, but it's just changing the question. I'd like to hope that it's a test from 1 through 14. Like that every fence is a test, that some people will like certain parts of the course and that they'll have to work hard to jump other parts, and vice versa. I try not to suit the one type of horse. I'm trying to have an overall test, and that the best horse athletes come out and at the top at the end of the night. A successful week, you'll have winners and losers, but that hopefully that some of the people that will have a rail down will have learned something and feel they have a better chance the next time they come out and will have improved from the experience. But it is a sport, and in all sports there's winners and losers, and the winners are happy and the losers are normally not so happy. But I try to be true to my principles and look after the horses as much as I can with my courses. And as I say, no tricks, nothing stare in front of you, and hopefully we have good sport.
Gravity Defier for life. IMS for life.
Yeah? I fell. Okay, there's bandages in the cabinet.
I'm bleeding.
Grab 2.
Sheba, what cats want?
Thanks so much. Thanks. This has been great. Changing the strategy makes a lot of sense.
Doors.
Keep an eye out for the invitation. Can't wait to see it.
Bring us together. A dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors with a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your
The
wealth.
architect left the plans in the back if you want to take a look.
She's so ready to take over. For retirement and everything else you're looking to build. We'll get there. Your Fidelity advisor can help your legacy last for generations. Doors were meant to be opened.
Thank you for tuning in to the Grand Prix show presented by Jumper. Stay tuned tonight as we have the $500,000 Bainbridge Company's 5-star Grand Prix. Tune in Wednesday to Sunday for the live coverage of WellingtonInternational.com. Our thanks to Jumper, the official stats provider of the Winter Equestrian Festival. Download their app today. And also our live stream brought to you by Dodd Technologies, an industry leader in creative design and technical support services for sports, entertainment, corporate and special events. Visit us online at doddtechnologies.com. Also, the USEF is the supporting sponsor of our live stream, in part with support of the US Equestrian Federation too, and the USEF network. And bringing us our 5-star Grand Prix here is Bainbridge Companies, and with offices across the country, from Wellington, Florida, with offices to Orlando and Tampa, and then up to Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Raleigh, Atlanta, and across to Texas as well, with Dallas and Austin. Bainbridge is one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders, and managers of multifamily real estate.
1 in 3 pet parents has used their pet's name as their password.
System hacked. System hacked. System hacked.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way to show your love.
Something like the US Open, it would be incredible to have in your trophy room.
It was typically the hardest Grand Prix of this winter season down here.
Trying to get to the highest level.
As long as I don't make a mistake, he can do this very easily.
Getting closer, I would like to think, so I'm there to compete.
How about the gray here, Spencer Smith for the USA?
Obviously it's a sport, but at the same time, the only reason I do this is because I love horses. Hi, buddy.
He's really been an incredible horse.
Everyone wants to win a Rolex Grand Prix.
I think adding the US Open in a great new initiative, and I think it's only going to bring more excitement and more prestige.
More ground line, please.
First jump is nice.
It's really all leading towards the US Open.
The person that stamps their name on it is going to, kind of go down in history, and we all want to do that.
I think I found them.
Really?
Making your dog your ring bearer is one way to show your love.
Car part. It's just a car part, look it.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way.
Parents, does your child love horses? US Equestrian's Kids Club Stable Stars is bringing the joy of horses to the whole family. Get access to quarterly activities, learning opportunities, coloring pages, and more. You can sign your child up by going to www.usef.org, logging into your free fan account, and finding the Stable Stars Kids Club tile. Then fill out your child's information and click Enroll.
Join the US Equestrian Kids Club.
A very warm welcome to tonight's Bainbridge $500,000 Grand Prix. A massive night ahead, and Bainbridge based here in Wellington, Florida, but with offices across the country, from Orlando to Tampa to further north to Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Raleigh, Atlanta, Dallas and Austin, Texas as well. Bainbridge, one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of multifamily real estate. Thank you to them, and to Jumper as well, our official app, where you find all the stats of all the top jumping here at Wellington International as well. We're going to be talking more about that in a few moments' time too, as we head into tonight's Bainbridge Grand Prix. And tonight, say, joining me is Nana Sar, Olympian, Grand Prix winner, and joining me tonight to probably talk some jumper stats as well, because you're the man behind Jumper 2.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm looking forward to this. This is a big Grand Prix, week 9 of Wellington, so it should be an exciting night. Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to this. We were saying in the build-up to this, 6 of the world's top 10 competing here tonight. It's looking already like probably the strongest Grand Prix of the season pretty well anywhere.
Absolutely, yeah. It's such a strong field of horses and riders tonight. We have a 40-deep starters list, so yeah, I'm expecting a tough course and quite a few clears.
In terms of riders tonight, again in the pre-show we've given plenty of run-up to this. I say 6 of the world's top 10, but 40 riders competing overall. They've come through qualifying from the Adequate WEF Challenge Cup earlier on this week in the speed. It's 40 really, top to bottom, pretty strong riders.
Absolutely, and they seed the orders here depending on how you do in the qualifiers. Yeah. So the people who had a good qualifying Thursday and Friday will be later on in the starting order. Looking at this list, you do see some heavy hitters in the first 15, so that just tells you a little bit that they might be hungrier tonight than they were the rest of the week.
And I say 6 of the world's top 10, we've got 5 of the world's top 10 going in the first half of the Grand Prix tonight. Like you say, it goes in reverse order of the WEF Challenge Cup as well. So Darragh Kenny will be last to go with 0K. Daniel Blumen, Spencer Smith, Nina Malavey and Elise Soken are those in the final 5 there from that point of view. Just Kent Farrington into the second half of that, but Kent has been the winner of the 2 big Grand Prix so far as we go into our opening here in Wellington as well. It's been lights, cameras, action all the way here, and we are about to go into another of the big light shows here to bring us into the night. It's been a massive step up in terms of competition this year and the production around it.
Absolutely. I think it's important to make these big events feel like big events, and when you can start it up with a beautiful light show, get the crowd engaged, get people out there walking the course, it just makes it exciting for everyone.
Certainly does, and so well that's well underway right now. The tension starts to build in the arena, and we've really reached the stage looking around here. It is sold out every Saturday night we come in here. You're coming in here to get a good seat.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Really, this is the pinnacle of show jumping in terms of competitiveness, size of jumps, technicality, but also the atmosphere. And I mean, this is what brings the best out of the horses and riders. Is a big crowd, a lot of ambiance. It's great.
For you as a rider, you love coming into this cauldron of excitement from that point of view. Who are your big picks? We've talked with our guests before this on their big picks. I'm interested to see which way you get to go.
It's hard to bet against Kent right now. Again, I do think he's riding an unbelievable wave. I think he's won 5 Grand Prix already this year, and we're only in March. That being said, there's a strong list. McLean is hunting for his win. I know Richie Fogel's maybe on a slightly less experienced horse, but he'll always give it a go. There's great riders from top to bottom here. Any one of these 40 could win.
Excellent. Well, we are going to head down to Ali as well to catch up with some of our riders out there too, of what is going to be behind the scenes of the big competitions here today as well. So let's head down to Ali Wolf and see who she's caught up with.
Hey, Stephen. We're down here with Alex Granado. We're talking about the $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix that we have tonight, the third 5-star that we have here featured at Wellington International. Impressions of this, Alan Wade.
Yeah, I've always liked Alan's courses. He does a great job for the field. I think it's really well set, but I think it's going to be really time dependent, horse by horse. I think there's a lot of related lines that are going to relate to the time allowed and how you get around the track to it.
And going through the course piece by piece, are there some of the lines, specific lines, maybe different numbers, some horses and riders?
Yeah, I think there's not a lot of options for me walking it that I would see in the numbers. I think they're pretty well set for majority of the line. So I think it's going to be riding your track well with the time allowed to get there so you do the right number. Particularly the Liverpool line with the triple across the diagonal is pretty well the set number. And then the Rolex Oxer to the water to the plank, I think will be a sweeping turns that talk you into rushing for the time allowed, but you really need to set up the track well for the line.
And this is Helios Grand Prix, so this is
for me, I'm gonna just really try to be really straightforward with my warm-up in the preparation and go in and take it piece by piece. He feels really ready. He's been jumping well this circuit, but I still want to be really mindful of his first big class under the lights.
That makes sense. We wish Alex the best of luck. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Back to you, Stephen.
Very much, Ali, and yes, we're looking forward to the riders competing here tonight. Let's take a look at our 5 to watch as part of those that we've picked out from the group of those competing here tonight. We narrowed it down just a little bit to try and give you a little bit of a focus in, a zoom in on the riders featuring here tonight. Like I say, 6 of the world's top 10 here, and looking forward to seeing how they all perform. But the top group could come from anywhere. And like I say, within our top 5, we'll see the likes of McLean Wall. We're going to be taking a look at Christian Kukuk. Of course, always hard to look past. And really, Niall, it's always tough when you don't always want to be going to the obvious favourites, do you?
Of course not. But it also depends on what they're riding. Some of them will pull out some of their best horses for this class. Some of them would maybe be riding a second horse. But again, these people are at the top of the world ranking list for a reason. So it's hard to bet against them, but you never know what could come out the pack here.
Ken Farrington is a prime example of what you're saying there, and he's changed to Myler tonight. He's won several times on Greer, 2 5-star Grand Prix on Greer already.
Exactly. So if he was bringing this mare out, he would obviously be a favorite. Myla's a little bit less experienced. She hasn't done so many 5-star tracks, especially not in this kind of atmosphere. But again, Kent always shows up with his horses in the best of shape. He's always mentally prepared. He's going to give it the best ride that he can and hope that he can end up on the podium again like he has the rest of the season.
He's very hard to bet against, and as I say, he's done a big success here with 2 from 2 at the moment with Greer. But as you say, Myler is going to be a different complexion on this one from that point of view, but there's no counting against him. As you say, he's been winning. As Henrik von Eckermann said to us earlier on this week, there's a tiny margin between Kent, who's now gone up to world number 2, and Henrik that's holding on to the number 1 spot, which he's had for something like 32 months now.
Insane.
Which is an amazing feat from that point of view. Let's take a look at the next of our riders that we are featuring here tonight as well. An exciting lineup, and McLean Ward, winner in the speed class earlier on this week with First Lady. He's going with his Olympic mount in Ilex. What are your thoughts on that, Niall?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that. I think Ilex has been sparingly used this year, so he's probably gearing him up for this Grand Prix and the Week 12 Grand Prix. It's his best horse. It's the horse with the most power and scope. Should jump this track relatively effortlessly. So it really suits... This tonight really suits a horse like that has all the experience, that can jump big jumps. Here he is winning the meter 50 class on Friday with First Lady. So it's always nice to get a win under your belt early on in the week. It just helps with your confidence. Not that McLean needs any extra confidence, but it's always beneficial, and he'll be trying to one up that result and get on the podium again tonight.
It always helps, and First Lady. Brilliant run from them from that point of view. So looking forward to seeing how he gets here. He came out strong onto the Lugano Week 7 Grand Prix. Didn't quite happen there.
Suffered an injury earlier on circuit too, so he's probably just hitting his stride right now. Here's Ilex from, I believe, last year.
Yes.
A ridiculously good turn there. Again, this is a horse that maybe moves a little bit slower than some of the smaller types that Kent Farrington likes to ride, for example, or Checker from Christian Kukuk, for example. He plays around a little bit in his turns. You can see him buck here and there. So, there's a very small margin of error when it comes to the jump-off for McLean and Ilex. So depending on how many are in there tonight, that'll affect his chances.
Pair that was second in the Aachen Grand Prix last year as well. Let's take a look at the Olympic Championship winning combination as well in Christian Kukuk and Checker 47. Now he went to be just be gentle is a different ride just the other day as well into the Grand Prix. Back to the faithful
Checker 47 now. And what's your thoughts here? Because they can really turn up for a
Yeah,
big
this
fence.
is just such a fun partnership to watch because you can tell they know each other inside out. This horse has a very flat canter, so he stays close to the ground all the time. Christian knows exactly where he can take risks and where he can't. The horse doesn't have the longest stride, but it has a very quick step. So Christian tends to find the places in the jump off where he can take advantage of that and then maybe not necessarily do the big leave outs that some of the other horses will do, yet still catch them on the clock. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, winner of the WEF Challenge Cup earlier on this week as well and goes in prime position is Darragh Kenny. And 0K, new mare for him. So let's take a look at them in action from earlier on this week as well. We talked about this in the pre-show too. Be really interested because he's really just getting to find out what she's like.
Very new partnership here. I think this horse was developed by his stable jockey Stephen Moore. They just picked up their biggest win to date in the WEF Challenge Cup this week.
Yeah.
This is a clip of the first round. The jump off was extremely fast for a partnership that maybe don't know each other that well yet. I was really impressed with how Darragh was able to take those risks and come out on top of a very competitive, 15, 16 horse jump off.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see how they feature. And Elise Oken was another that we were pulling out of the pack here, who's gone so well with Gel Vera 2 and is going to be one to watch here tonight. Join us after the break as we build up to the final stages, ready for tonight's $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix here in Wellington. Back in a minute.
1 in 3 pet parents has used their pet's name as their password.
System hacked. System hacked. System hacked.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way to show your love.
I think I found them.
Really?
Making your dog your ring bearer is one way to show your love.
Car part. It's just a car part, look it.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way.
From no-drill mud flaps and water-repellent seat protectors to our laser-measured floor liners, WeatherTech has everything you need. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com, the ultimate protection for your vehicle.
Welcome back to the Winter Equestrian Festival. Final stages before tonight's Bainbridge $500,000 Grand Prix. Thank you to Bainbridge once again for their support here. And we're going to be taking a look at the course too of what is in store tonight. And thanks to Mars Equestrian too, who bring us our programs here. A better world for horses, pets and people. And to Bainbridge 2, our presenting sponsor here tonight, with offices across the country, including here in Wellington, one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of real estate. Let's take a look at the course brought to you by Fidelity as we take a look down onto the track. We start over the Burgundy Oxer, going well up the arena, and turn back to the rails at the churches, the towers there at 1.57 m, potentially 7 strides. We'll talk more to Niall about that in a few moments' time. To the red and white triple bar, 1.95 m. Vertical after that, and in the avocado colours, so plain colours on that. Back to 5 to the teal towers, and that sees them with a 165 spread with a water tray there. Triple combination coming across the centre. This is going to be interesting. 1 stride and 1 stride through there in the purple and white colours, and then on to the Japanese fans at fence 7. Roll back to the Rolex fence at the next, and this is a little bit narrowed up at 1.30 m in width, but 1.55 m in height. Takes them down to the water. and beyond that to a vertical, just on a little bit of a kink in the line down to the vertical that follows, but it's a plank as well, and that's going to be key there too at 1 metre 60. To 11 and 12, because it is a Grand Prix course, plenty of course here. Alan Wade, our course designer here this week, over the Hermes Oxa at 12, and then down the final line in front of the International Club, it's the double at 13A and B in the black and white, and then 5 strides potentially down to the last to the Bainbridge fence as the final fence on course. That's what it's looking like for the course here. Let's join with our very first to go. Time allowed of 79 seconds here tonight as well, and as I say, Niall Nassar alongside me as well. Delighted to have him here, and that I know he's taking a night off tonight, Niall, but I am glad that you can come and join us in the commentary box.
Oh, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Christian Coyle, our first to go with Alexis Bodo's Extravaganza Semi, the 11-year-old mare by Janac. Horses now just started last season to jump in some of the 5 stars, jumped in the Hamptons. They've been a combination together since 2023. Placed in a number of Grand Prix at 3-star level. Another step up for them here, Niall.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to go through.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a combination that probably doesn't have all the experience at this level. Quite a big horse. Some of these short distances will be quite hard for him, or for her, sorry. But Christian does a great job. They've been together for 2 years, so it's about time they, took a crack at a class like this. It's never easy to go first, but Christian should give us a good idea of how this course is going to ride. 6 walked a hair steady into that combination, a big stretch coming out. This 5 also walked quite short, especially for a big strider. That'll all depend on how easily they jump out of the combination. And this is one of the time fault traps here, this rollback. Like you said, not a wide oxer, but quite tall. The 7 walks almost too normal to a water jump. Yeah, exactly. I expected that to happen quite often tonight. I wonder if a bigger horse would maybe attempt the 6 just to make sure you have forward momentum, but that's going to be a challenging line for everyone. Here's one of the other time fault traps, this roll back to the skinny, very normal 4. I walked kind of a 9 on this bend, but there is so much curve and the horses may start getting tired towards the end of the course. That is quite a wide jump, so you do need to square up, and then it's a very normal 5 to the last.
Just over the time allowed, 80.09, time allowed of 79, so picks up 2 time faults for that. It's a fault for every second over the time allowed. 8 faults for jumping for Christian Coyle and Extravaganza Semi. I would say actually you'd be pretty good with that.
Yeah. Yeah, again, the foot in the water, that's a challenge. That line for a big horse is quite difficult because that 7 walks so normal that you can't actually punch them up to that box.
And you see them just moving away going into that double.
And there towards the end of the course, the horse fades away from the side of the ring, makes that oxer a little wider on itself than it needs to. I mean, it looks like he barely stepped on the tape there. That was also a little bit unlucky.
Well, it is 8 from our first Christian Coyle of Iron, like you say, first time for them into the Saturday night lights here. A little bit more experienced is Lily Keenan of the US now, the world number 25 with the Chanzenet Farm of New York's Argand de Belliard. They were top 3 in the Lugano Grand Prix 2 weeks ago. Really good rounds from there on that occasion. They're past winners of the 5-star Grand Prix in Ottawa, amongst other successes, World Championship competing combination as well. Niall, you've watched that first. What do we see from Lily here? Because this is a really consistent pair.
Yeah, this is a pair that has loads of experience together. Again, another big striding horse, so she's going to need to be very efficient in her turns, which, as you can see, she's already doing. She was very neat 1 to 2. She's right behind those standards here to this big Liverpool oxer. This 6 is going to be just a hair steady, and it does seem like it gets away from her. She gets a little bit flat coming into the triple, vertical coming in. You want to make that as quiet as possible. It just looked like she had a big stretch over the Liverpool, and that 6 ended up being a little bit forward for her. Nice, neat turn back to the Rolex here. You can tell she waits a little bit. Yeah, that water is tough to jump. And then there's a 6 to the plank. Again, relatively direct line, which forces you on a difficult angle. And then here you can see she's turning as tight as she can so she can make sure she makes the time allowed. This 4 should ride quite nicely for most horses. Yeah, that's what I expected. That line, that big bend, walks kind of a normal 9 strides, but at the end of the course, the horses start to get a little bit tired. You want to make sure you square it up. She ended up on the 10 strides there, but did it beautifully and jumped it clear. She's inside the time allowed, just picks up 8 faults.
Yeah, 78.10, so inside the time allowed for Lily Keenan and Alganda Belliard. This triple combination, this line I think is going to feature a lot tonight.
Yeah, you can see she's still traveling forward a little bit in that last stride towards the triple combination. Gets away with a touch here on the plank. That's very rare. But overall, I mean, I thought the horse jumped well. She rode well. This is just quite a challenging track, and going so early, you don't get to see anybody go, so it's hard to know how the lines are going to ride.
Taking a look around is Michael Duffy of Ireland and Cantano 32. Michael, who with this horse was third in the Shanghai Grand Prix last year as well. He's a European silver medalist. He was on the team that finished second for Ireland last week here too. And so has got good experience in this arena as well. Will be really interesting to see these first few in here, Niall, as well. They're really the ones, the explorers that get out there to find out where the tricks are.
The guinea pigs of the track, right? Yeah. Again, it helps to know your horse well when you go so early in the class. You really have to rely on the course that you walked and make sure that you execute the distances that you felt would ride the way you walk them. So so far he's doing really well. That 4 is very short after the triple bar, but the horse sits back great. And now he's coming into the crux of the course here. Little spook at the Liverpool. He has to flap a little bit to get him over. That was well ridden. Stayed in a very neutral rhythm the whole way. Just had a big stretch coming out and ticks on the back rail. And
just ticking on the back rail there, is that also going to cause a problem because you think about where you've got to be when you land?
Absolutely, yeah. It's kind of a catch-22 where if you come in too slow to the triple, you make sure that you're jumping your 2 verticals, but then you maybe don't have the momentum to carry yourself out. But if you come in too fast, hoping that you can help your horse with some speed to get over C, you risk touching the 2 verticals, which are just extremely delicate, right? So that's going to be a challenging line for everyone tonight.
On the 4 so far for Michael Duffy and Cantano. This final line that, again, just getting straight there through down the gold banding down the centre of the Bainbridge to the last. And really,
it's a good round.
It's a very good round. Yeah. 79.05 is just a touch
really
over.
Unlucky, yeah. Oh, he is over the time allowed. Yeah. Okay, just fractions, though.
Just the one time fault there to add to the one fence, and it's 79.05. Time allowed of 79 seconds around the 14 numbered fences on this course. What, 17 jumping efforts overall?
It is a long course tonight, yeah. The horse's fitness is going to come into play, the rider's fitness and concentration towards the end of the course. And that last line isn't a gimme either.
No.
You know, you have to jump that double, and you have to set up that 5 to the last. Just doesn't make the width there. That was a real shame.
And thinking about, I mean, the width on there is 1.65 meters.
Yeah.
You've got to land, and as you say, you're then deciding. Well, you're not then deciding. You've made a plan. You're hoping your plan's going to come off to how it's going to come down to that next.
Absolutely.
24-year-old and top of the under 25 rankings right now for the international FEI rankings. Carlos Guerrero and the H5 Sport Horses H5 Shack Attack. He was on the team last week for Mexico as well. Jump round for 4 faults on the Fidelity Week 5 as well from that point of view. Looking forward to seeing this horse. I really, like Shack Attack.
Yeah.
1, it's a great name, but 2, it's a good horse.
Absolutely, yeah. Big horse with a lot of stride, a lot of scope. Jumps really well through his body. Carlos is probably getting to know him a little bit at this level. You can see he actually let the horse die a little bit in the air over the triple bar so that he didn't carry too much momentum into that short 4 to the next vertical. Takes a little peek there at the Liverpool. That's going to make this 6 a little more forward for him. But really gets up to the base nicely. Excellent effort there. And then just balances up nicely for the 5.
And he's able to take that nice and quietly.
Exactly, yeah. That was really well done. He just has to hustle for time allowed around here. Great jump. Same idea. He kind of melts down for 2 or 3 strides so that he can press back up to the water.
Oop.
Just on the tape.
I think he is.
Yeah.
Just the flag escapes.
Yeah.
Now, interesting, this turn back here, you almost sort of have to go beyond it to get back to it.
Yep. One of the time fault traps of the course. It kind of lulls you into going nice and wide and getting straight. But if you're hustling for time, you can't really get straight to it either. So that's going to be a spot where you're going to have to be really neat in your rollback. That was a really good round. Can't believe that, just a foot on the tape of the water.
There's Dad in the background there with the blue top on. Eduardo Jimenez is his trainer as well there. Just knowing that was so close, 77.67, 4 is the foot in the water.
Yeah, I would love to see that again because it looked to me like he kind of cheated up the inside line a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And like I was saying earlier, that 7 walks too standard of a 7 for you to just ride up there directly and still have enough momentum to get across the water. So in an ideal world, you know, I think you have to open up that line as much as you can so that you can keep a little bit of momentum going forward in the last 3 strides to get you across the width of the water. If you cheat up the inside line, naturally that distance gets even shorter on you, and so you run out of space to be able to really press them up there and get them across, you know, a 4.5 meter wide open water jump.
Shane Sweetnam of Ireland. James Cancruz, exactly. This is one we look forward to. Gizmo, fantastic horse that we've seen through to 2 Olympic Games now. For Shane, he's been through to 2 Olympic Games. This is Ride in Paris. This was the horse that also took him to 2 American Gold Cups as well. Finishing one in the Grand Prix earlier on this season, finished second in the 4-star Grand Prix. But really, for this pair, that's just a warm-up. And for many... this is really now where they start to really come out. James Cancruz has just been quietly brought back into this season.
Yeah, I think Shane has been really smart with how he's managed this horse this season. He's only bringing him out when he really feels like he needs him. This should be, you know, a great combination to watch. Shane with all the experience. James Cancruz jumps clear about 60% of the time at 1.60 m, so he's got the stats to back him up. Oh boy, that's too bad.
And it just went...
That just, I'm not really sure what caused that miscommunication there. I mean, James Cancruz is quite a bouncy horse. He bounces off the bridle quite easily, it looks like. That 8 to the triple bar did walk a bit steady. And you can see now it's starting to unravel a little bit. Maybe the horse has lost his concentration. I think that 8 to the triple bar walked a little short, and Shane probably had that in mind. And when he went to make that adjustment, James Cancruz almost bounced off the bridle and probably just fit an extra stride in there.
Sort of over-responded.
Where really that extra stride doesn't really exist to that triple bar. Let's see, he's probably just going to nurse him around here, just try to quiet him back down. Probably pick up a few time faults along the way now that he's had some rails. That was unusual.
Yes,
very rare to see Shane make a mistake like that, especially so early on in the course. But okay, a lot of atmosphere tonight. This is a horse with a lot of energy. Probably hasn't been out so much this season, so maybe just a hair overreacting to what Shane is trying to do up there.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of step back into the season. A jumping 2-time there. Michael Blake, the Irish chef, to keep looking very serious.
Very serious.
80.39. I don't think that will be a long-term problem there.
No.
Shane Sweetnam, James Cancruz finishing on a total of 10 this time. Little look back here, Niall, to the triple combination.
That was weird. That's quite a hard fall for that horse. It looked like he just never really got his shoulder up off the ground there. He has a hard rub at A and then still rubs B. And then actually jumps well the rest of the way. Just seemed like a case of horse and rider not really being fully in sync at the beginning of the course, and as things went on, they started to come together a lot more.
Shane Sweetnam heading on out. Richard Fogel due to be next up as we start to get into the world's top 10. There he is, interview. Richard Fogel, the world number 9 right now, the German Olympian. And with Event de l'Erebus, he actually was a combination that won the first Grand Prix of the season when we kicked things off. You actually then won the Southern Arches Grand Prix after that. Well done to you for that.
Thank you.
And Richie here with this horse that's coming into this level for the very first time. But again, they'll have done their homework and they certainly have the ability.
I was going to say, I think he just went 7 to the triple bar, which then makes the 4 very tight. This is another horse that doesn't have all the experience at this level, but Richie does, so he can make up for it. He sits up nice and tall for the 6, balances it well. You can see he gets quite short in there for him, Yeah, go ahead.
Like you say, but again, if you're thinking about the fact it's going to get short for you there, was that direction you were going in?
I was saying also, I think opening up the horse so much in the beginning of the course doesn't actually lend itself well to the rest of it. You know, he went for a leave out, it looked like, between fence 2 and 3, unless I miscounted that, but that did look quite forward. And then the rest of the way, actually, Alan is asking you to reel the horses back in. So, you know, the more you can start off on a more level stride, the easier it's going to be as the course starts to ask more and more technical difficulties as you go along. He's still putting together quite a good round there. Another one who had a foot in the water. It seems to be the bogey jump of the night, and actually finished off great. I mean, that was probably more of a couple of green mistakes more than anything. The horse not really having the experience doing these sorts of classes. So I think Richard will be quite happy with that, and it's an exciting horse for the future for sure.
Look at overall, as you say, comes out of there well. I think in the end, total of 8 faults there for Richard Vogel and Evendele Erebus at 75.15. So time was not a big issue. And as you say, finishing strong for this pair. That is going to be another step on the road for the German rider. I think we're going to see a lot more of that horse this year. But that's the whole idea of the being here through Wellington as well.
Right. Yeah, this is, a place to develop horses, to develop yourself, to build partnerships. It's always tricky, these are big classes. You don't necessarily want to use them to teach a horse something. You'd like to pull out some animal that has a chance to jump clear and go well. But at the same time, if they never give them the exposure, they never learn, right? So I think Richie is kind of finding that balance right now, and I thought that was a very productive round.
Venezuela, Luis Fernando Larrazabal, Victoria Herta-Mates Condara. Really good partnership here. They were top 15 at the Pan American Games in Santiago in 2023. Then went on to compete at the Olympic Games in Paris as well. Jump round on week 5, 12 faults on that occasion. And again, this is one now that can just start to build on that.
Yeah, again, this is more seasoned partnership. Luis has a nice understanding with this horse. Another bigger type, but actually not a huge stride for how big of a horse she is. So he manages that short 4 after the triple bar quite well. He goes nice and wide to get straight here. It's a little rattle on the back rail. Maybe that sharpens her up for this combination here. Very snappy over A and C. A little stretch for the Oxer.
Came up quite tidily in the end.
Yeah, very good. He just needs to be conscious of the time. He seems a little bit wide and slow. This is not a super wide jump. 6, 7. Nah, yeah.
And wet.
I think they're coming a little too direct in that 7. You really.
What do you explain to me, and for those that what you mean by that?
So that line has a little bit of a curve in it, right?
Yes.
So if you're on the inside line, naturally there's less room from the Oxer to the open water. You always want to get to the water with a lot of forward rhythm, right? You want to be going forward. The horse needs to be in front of your leg. You want to be traveling on a big enough stride. And that distance just walks short enough that you can't quite do that unless you open up the track. So unless you make that distance wider, longer.
A little bit of move to the
left.
left.
So you're almost better off overshooting that Oxer, jumping it a little bit right to left, and that will give you maybe an extra meter or two. Hey, you can see he's on the inside line there, and then you're jumping across the water, making it even wider on yourself. So I'd like to either see somebody just really gun it up the inside track in 6.
Yes.
That way, at least you know you're going forward. You might be a little far away, but at least the horse is traveling with a lot of forward momentum. Or somebody really put a kink in that line and open it up to give themselves a little bit more space so that 7 doesn't get as tight to the water.
Twice winner of the Grand Prix here on week 9 now is to Abdel Said. Abdel, this time with a different ride once again. He's won it on 2 different rides, in fact. And this is Quaker Brimbel's Z. Again, newer ride for him. Jumped the Nations Cup in Sharjah, out of the United Arab Emirates. He's been competing over the Middle East. He actually won the Grand Prix in Doha, different ride on the Global Champions Tour just last week as well. He's come straight in here. He's won the Grand Prix here with Bandit Savoie and Page de Rue. 2022 and 2023. We talked about this a little bit in the pre-show as well. Newer combination at this level. I'm just excited to see it.
Yeah, very new combination. I was talking to Abdel about this horse earlier. He's quite excited about it. Again, this will be probably the biggest track they've jumped together. Abdel's coming off an incredible season in the Middle East with a big win in Doha. Makes light work of the triple combination. Abdel is riding every stride of this course. Again, kind of a slower moving horse, so you see him really turn short there. I wonder if he's going to try the 6. No, he waits up for the 7, tries to build up to the water. Yep, gets over that.
And there you could probably really start to see. You can see he made a little bit of a shift.
Exactly. Tried to open up that line a tiny bit and landed and waited right away so that he could then move up at the end. This is looking like a fantastic round so far. Great. He gets the 9, probably thinking for the time allowed. You could see him come a little bit on the inside.
Yeah, he's going to be close.
And
on
now
the
he's,
time.
oh, he gets an extra stride to the last. No.
Time was going to catch him as well.
Yeah.
80.45. 4 jumping being that final fence, 2 for time. That was a really well put together round, and you can see by the head shaking behind the scenes there.
That
it was
such
nearly
a shame.
all done.
Such a shame. I think he probably thought that 5 was going to be shorter than it actually was. So he landed and waited, and then all of a sudden he was on 6 strides, and there really isn't a 6 strides there. I mean, the horse tries his heart out. Abdel does a good job staying on. Okay, all things considered, though, considering this was the horse's first big class, that was an impeccable ride.
You can see it close up
yeah.
here. Well, again, I think he can be. It'll shake you a little bit, but you'd be happy enough with how that went.
He's going to have to take the positives away from that. I mean, you can always, you can kick yourself as a rider for making that mistake, but he was going to be very tight on the time allowed anyway. Hopefully he can take some solace in that. But really, the horse jumped unbelievably well.
Natalie Dean. Natalie Dean of the United States of America jumped as part of the winning team last week here in the Nations Cup on the winning rounds there. It's a pair that have jumped the Nations Cup in Aachen before now in Germany. Jumped round for just 4 faults in the Rolex Grand Prix here last year as well. Really solid performance. Horse that she rode at the World Cup final as well. A Kota M for Natalie, who hails originally from California. That one just starts. I'm surprised we haven't seen more poles falling early on, actually.
Yeah, that's true. Especially that line. It's extremely short. I mean, for those who walk meters at home, that's a 18, 20 meter line. So it's very short, especially coming off of the triple bar. You would think that it would suit this horse, though, because it is a smaller type with maybe a shorter stride. Just finds a toe there and puts a leg on that teal-colored vertical. She gets over the water nicely, balances up for the 6 very well to the plank. She's turning very short. Now that she's had an early rail, in a way it's almost an advantage to have one early because you can speed up and try to be a fast 4. The risk is that. Yeah. You can maybe overdo it and pick up a rail or 2 more along the way. Great effort through that double and just a very nice 5 to the last. That was a shame.
Yeah, time's not an issue. 75.45. It's a total of 12 there for Natalie Dean and a Kota M from that point of view. And so they will go into 9th place. As you say, looking solid. 1 fence down, but as you say, you just try and push it there.
Yeah.
And that's where it catches up with you.
Yeah, that looked like an unlucky rail. Again, I mean, the horse jumped a 4-fault round, really, and then Natalie decided to speed up to try to be a fast 4 and get a good piece and paid the price. I mean, that's a risk that you take as a rider. Probably better to do that than to, pick up a couple time faults along the way and not get anything. So I understand her thinking there. I think the horse actually jumped a very good round. It just came unraveled a little bit as she started to chase down the clock.
19-year-old Tom Watchman from Ireland now in the Coolmore show jumpings at Basco de Doc Sandri Z. Former ride of German rider Kendra Brinkhoff, and they jumped some amazing rounds together. Newer partnership together from that point of view. They won 3-star Grand Prix in Valencia last season as well, as they've been getting together. Now Tom already is a young rider and junior gold medalist. 2023 and 2024, as I say, still in his teens. Finished top 5 in the recent World Cup qualifier in Ocala as well. This was a really exciting horse to watch with Kendra, and I think that is not going to change. It's going to be really interesting to see with Tom.
Yeah, definitely. I've been kind of keeping tabs on this partnership throughout circuit because I'm a big fan of this horse. A horse with a huge stride and huge scope. Tom, a very young rider who's been really coming into his own this circuit, trying to get to know this horse. You can see that 6 is very short for such a big strider, but with all the scope in the world, he hardly has to work to get out of the combination. Waits up for that 5 beautifully. The horse jumps through his body really well. Another one that's going to just have to stay on top of the time allowed here. Nice short rollback, a little rub. He goes for the 6. Very well done. Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to do that. And then this 6 is just going to be a little shorter then because you're coming off of a bigger swing on the open water. Does that really well. He just has to hustle around this corner. Very nice.
Oh, it stayed.
It stayed.
It stayed.
Good. Stay focused here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, he leaves a stride out there. Beautiful.
He's going to be
Come on,
good.
Tom. Get up.
He's going to be very good.
There it is.
Clear round number 1, Tom Watchman, the 19-year-old from Ireland, 76.27. Trains with Cian O'Connor, Tom Watchman and Tabasco de Toxandria give us the first clear round of the night.
Excellent. That was serious round. Very good riding.
And really good ride. I mean, okay, a couple of lucky breaks in there as well.
Yeah,
But we all have those.
You need that. You need that. You know, I've never won a class without getting a little lucky. So, you know, I thought he executed his plan to perfection. He took strides out in the right places, right?
Yeah.
He left one out to the water where, you know, everybody was getting so stuck on that 7. He just landed, loped up the inside line and did the 6. And he was really neat in all his rollbacks, which he really had to do because it is a slow-moving horse. It spends a lot of time in the air. He took a stride out to that last double, which I didn't even think was there. So, you know, I'm really impressed with that round. He should be really pleased with that.
Been interesting to see some newer horses moving into the 5-star Grand Prix this week. This is going to be another in Ginger Ask with Erin Ballard of Canada, the Canadian Olympian, with the horse for Landfeder and the Marigold Sport horses, which goes back to Natalie Dean in there as well. From their ownership, and this the mare by Casal, like I say, coming into their first. They finished second in the 150 Classic on the 5-star on the Lugano week 2 weeks ago, so really have reached the point where they've gone, okay, we need to go the next step.
Yep, I think this is the horse's first step up into, you know, a real 160 course. No better rider to guide it around here than Erin. They do know each other well. They've won, you know, up to 3-star, 4-star level. They've won, like you said, a 5-star meter 50 as well. This is a smaller horse with a quicker stride, so the time allowed shouldn't be much of an issue. Erin is also always so efficient with her track. That Liverpool is hard. You know, I think whenever they're set across the diagonal of the ring here, you do get a funny reflection from the lights. We've seen a few horses earlier on take a good peek at it right in the takeoff, and as a rider, there's really not much you can do when they spook at the very last moment. So that horse took a bit of a second guess and plowed the back rail, and Erin just decided to save her for another night.
And sensibly there, as she was coming into the triple combination, I think if you'd been probably coming into another single fence at that point, you might have come back to it or done something. But
absolutely, it's just an 11-year-old, so you know she needs to keep building the partnership, building her confidence. They'll be back to fight another day for sure.
Which age-wise would be prime, but as you say, experience-wise, they're just really getting into that next level.
Absolutely.
3-time Olympic gold medalist, as it says there, it is Ben Mayer, the world number 5, Anjou de Grécien, the French-bred gelding for owners Charlotte Roster and Pamela Wright out here in the United States. They were a brilliant combination that won the London Grand Prix back in 2023. He's been a winner this season with Ginger Blue for Jane Clark out on the field as well. And Anjou has been sort of sitting second string so far this season to that of Dallas Vegas Batty, and so Anjou now to get released, was second in the NetJets Grand Prix back on the 4-star week there as well, and I think your reaction there says it all.
Wow, yeah. He could not have jumped the first jump or the second much better. You can see he stays quite wide in the 8 so that he doesn't have to make too big of an adjustment. Sits up nice and tall, gets a, you gotta be kidding me. Wow, this jump is kind of going towards the in gate. It's a very dull color, so it's hard for the horses to measure it well. It looks like he just got unlucky and put a toe on there. That was really a shame. And Ben, being an experienced rider, is probably going to pick up the pace a little bit. You'll see him get a nice, neat roll back here just to stay on top of the time allowed with only one clear through how many 12 combinations. I think he knows that a fast 4 is going to get him something tonight.
And that's the difference, as you'll see, and Checker and Christian Cook are prime examples of how you'll see the very top riders. They don't go start racing around the course.
No.
They just take a little bit of a tighter line.
Exactly, yeah. It's all about your track at this level, especially when you have time fault traps like this with big loop backs. You know, it's all about staying as neat and tidy as possible without unraveling your horse by just going faster and wider, right? So, you know, Ben rode actually a fantastic round, kept the horse really well balanced the whole way. He's easily inside the time allowed. Yep, he's sitting second tonight. He'll be disappointed with that, but I have to say, I mean, that was a really good jumping round. He made that look quite easy.
Really nice round from Ben, and just the tiniest touch there.
It looked like it was going to stay for a second, and it just rolled off. I would notice too that that fence has flat cups, so those yellow cups that you see that are holding the rails are a little shallower than the white ones that you see on some of the other jumps, which just means that there's less margin of error. You can't touch them quite as hard.
Which
as
is
you
all
can the other
allowed,
ones.
I'll point
Exactly.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do we go next?
Luciana Lossio.
Luciana Lossio.
Last year's winner, right?
Absolutely. Last year's winner of the Grand Prix here for the Bainbridge 5-star Grand Prix. Luciana from Brazil with Lady Louise. What a wonderful partnership together, as you say, success last year. They went on to win in Chantilly last year as well, and some number of very good finishes. We've made a little video of her this week as well, which you should catch up on, and tells her story, because she balances this with a very serious day job as a lawyer as well. So she really is balancing up two fantastic careers. Early fall for this time.
This is a great story too. I mean, they got this horse to jump meter 20, meter 30, and then just kept stepping it up, and she kept jumping the same way regardless of how big the jumps were. You can see she's starting to fade a little bit to the right side of the jumps from the beginning of this course, with the bending line from 2 to 3. With a horse that goes out to the right, it does make it a little bit longer than what it walked, and it looked like she just got a little too far away from the triple bar and had the back rail there. That triple combination is hard to jump for everyone. She just has a little touch. Same there, you can see the horse's right shift starting to catch up with it. It doesn't quite get his hind end high enough to clear the plank.
And one of the things she talked about last year, because she won the Grand Prix and she did very well over in Europe as well.
Yeah.
But for her, she's balancing her real role as a justice too. But she's also doesn't get as much exposure in the invites into the 5-star, because she's really a one-horse rider.
For sure, yeah. It's really challenging, especially when you're competing against guys who do this week in, week out on several different horses. But it doesn't make it impossible. She showed it. She showed us last year. Yeah, she had a great win. Again, she hasn't been here that long, so I think she's still getting herself in gear after pursuing her other career in Brazil. So a few rails along the way, but nothing disastrous. I think she's going to learn from this. She's going to get some confidence from it, and she'll come back in one of the other big weeks and show us what she's made of.
Total of 12 there for Luciana Lossio and Lady Louise. The Olympic champions together once again, Christian Kuckuck and Checker 47 for the German rider, for the horse from the Beerbaum stables, but a wider group of owners than that as well. And it is the Westphalian gelding for the Olympic champions and Rolex Grand Prix winners here last year too. The world number 6 winners of the NetJets Grand Prix earlier on this season too. Finished second in the Grand Prix on week 5. They will be consistently there. They like an early draw in the jump off, if it goes that way. And like I said, it's very interesting to see, because riders have jumped their way into their spots, some of them on different horses in the qualifiers here, that we've got 5 of the 6 in the top 10 going in the first half of the track, and he's going to have a rail as well. So alongside Ben Mayer, they both actually have the same fence down.
Yeah, that's 2 of the world's best being caught out by that teal-colored vertical.
Yeah. And the triple combination well. Now that was pretty well copybook on how to ride it.
Very good. Just made light work of the triple combination, jumped it like a gymnastic, really. 1, 2, 3, 7. That was well done. He stayed on quite a direct line, but he waited 2 or 3 strides before moving up, just to give himself a little bit of room to the water. That was very well executed. Again, Christian's going to start hustling now for the time, so he can be a fast 4-faulter, get a good piece of the prize tonight. Just a small adjustment there, but jumps that. Almost jumped in too well. It looked like the horse landed so far into the combination that he just ran out of room for B. Uncharacteristic results, but just a couple of rails. It happens, yeah.
And as you say, nothing too serious. 74.88, 2 down, 8 faults for Christian Kuckuck and Checker 47, one that's been a favourite for many here, and just the tiniest lead on it, really.
Exactly. Looked like he was still trying to balance him up, and Checker just kept traveling forward a little bit. Maybe got a hair deep to that vertical. again, that four-stride line is extremely short. 18 meters is almost ridiculous to be able to fit that number in. Not impossible, as you can see some other riders have done it.
Look there, just look at that shot. You had the Olympic champion in Checker and Christian Kukuk, the world champions, and Team Gold in Tokyo with King Edward, and the four stables ride for, of course, Henrik von Eckermann, the world #1. Both in the same ring. Doesn't happen very often.
A lot of medals between those two. Yeah, a lot of medals between those two partnerships.
Well, wonderful to see the wonderful King Edward, as I say, the World Championship winning combination together here. They were 5th in the Lugano Grand Prix a few weeks ago, and Henrik has made no secret. He's just been bringing the horse nicely back into the year, building the confidence, getting them back to the form that they've shown before now. They had some ups and they had some downs at the tail end of, well, second half of last year, really.
Yeah.
And this is one of the great horses that we've ever seen in the sport.
An amazing partnership. They've won everything there is to win, and I'm sure it reaches a point too where when you're the favorite all the time, it also like catches up with you. You feel that pressure. Henrik is one of the coolest riders out there. He's been rebuilding the confidence of this horse. King Edward just got a little unsure of himself in jump-offs, really, towards the latter part of last year. And there's nobody better than Henrik to put that confidence back in him. He does the 6 strides to the water, which, again, I was expecting to see a little bit more from horses with big strides. He just cruised up the inside line, did that beautifully, and then balanced up for the plank. Just has to set up here for this skinny. That was well done. Excellent jump there. He's keeping the shape in the horse really nicely. Just squares up well. Sit up. Nice.
Come on, Teddy.
Come
one more.
Masterful.
There we go.
Yeah, beautiful.
Absolutely masterful, as you say.
Yeah.
It is the second of the clears, Henrik von Eckermann, the world #1, and the top horse in King Edward. Now, it's really going to be a fascinating evening because, as Henrik said earlier on this week, Kent Farrington is closing in on his #1 spot. 29 points difference between world #1 and world #2. Henrik needs to start getting some wins back on the card.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure he can feel Kent breathing down his neck now. I think Henrik is riding with a broken hand or a broken
Yes,
finger.
he does,
I see
yes.
a cast over there. So he's not at 100%, yet he's still able to pull out a clear round in an extremely difficult Grand Prix.
He's basically strapped up.
Wow,
He had a fall here before he left, before he went off to
you can
Gothenburg.
see it right there. Yeah, and I don't think he's even holding the reins where he normally would, right, because of the cast. So just remarkable. What an athlete! What a combination! Really showed us how it was done tonight.
Wonderful combination comes up again, and this is how strong this is tonight, because we're talking Olympics. This is Olympic team silver for the 2-time Olympic gold medalist in McLean Ward, the world #7. They're coming thick and fast out of the world's top 10 here. He won this week on First Lady as well, and riding his Paris Olympic match in Ilex for himself and the Bonchance farm. They finished top 5 in Geneva, 2nd in the Aachen Grand Prix, and now he's really started to unwrap Ilex for the season.
6-7. He does a 7 to the triple bar, but then this 4 is going to be extremely short. Wow. Great effort there. McLean, another master of track. You can see how neat he stays. Gets away with a lucky touch on the back rail. This horse also just has a monstrous stride that you can tell all these distances are just getting uncomfortably short for them, but he gets away with the triple there. Another really tight turn back. He's going to step up in the 6. Oh. Big jump there, gets over. Very nice. All right, I think he's through some of the more difficult parts of the course for this horse. He's hustling for time. I just hope he doesn't rush himself.
Yeah. The groans in the arena are amazing.
And
you don't want to hear them, you want to hear the cheers.
Yeah, but the
response.
atmosphere is just so palpable tonight. Yeah, and again, kind of just runs out of room in that double. That was a shame. That was a shame.
Going to see them on a score of 873.63 for McLean Ward and Ilex this time. So one of the big challengers dropping by the wayside this time. 2 down, as you say, that really knocked on the head what you thought were the big challenges for them.
Yeah, and he's done in 73 seconds with a 79 time allowed, right? So I almost wonder if he overdid the time, thinking that, maybe he had misjudged it a little bit, but he did look extremely short, or he was turning extremely short on all of his rollbacks, and eventually it did catch up to him. I wonder if, when he looks back on this round, if he might say, I should have taken a little bit more time in a few places, because I don't need to be 6 seconds inside the time allowed, right?
Gosh, it's easy afterwards, isn't it? It's so easy afterwards.
Yeah. But in the moment, it's a slow-moving horse. I'm sure, and he plays a little bit between the jumps. He bucks around, so I'm sure McLean is always kind of having that top of mind. But to me, it looked like he almost overdid it a little bit tonight.
Emily Conter now of Belgium, the Stefex tables, Portobello van de Fruitgorf, one of the longest names on the night. But Emily jumped some terrific rounds alongside sister Zoe in the Nations Cup last week as well. She finished top 4 in the NetJets Grand Prix here back in the early part of the season now. Went very well in California too for her. And really has been one of her biggest entries into a year so far.
I've been really impressed by both of the Conter sisters. I think they're riding great. They've improved so much over the last couple of years. They have a good team of horses, but they're also executing their plans to perfection. This is a horse that she knows quite well, giving a wonderful effort tonight. So far, making the course look easy. Horse has its own style. Jumps with a bit of a straight neck, but always gets its shoulder out of the way. Here comes the challenging part of the course. You see, she opens up that line really well, so that she can add leg for the water. That was beautifully executed. Sits up nicely for the 6. All right, now this is a place where you want to stay on top of the time, but you don't want to rush yourself, because the skinny is quite difficult to jump. And like you said, it's very hard to get straight here. She's going to have to step up for this 4. Very nice. Come on, Emily. Good shot in there, so she can get up and down over the oxer, give herself some room for the vertical. Unbelievable.
Okay.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
Looking good.
Oh, that was foot perfect.
Stefex team very happy with that as well. And so it is clear round number 3. We've got real youth in there alongside the experienced world number 1. But Emily Conter, following on from that terrific run last week in the Nations Cup, produces a clear tonight in the Bainbridge $500,000 5-star Grand Prix.
Wow.
Emily, along with Tom Watchman, both in the under-25 brackets.
She absolutely crushed that. I mean, that was as close as it gets to a perfect round. I mean, she rode every single stride. She kept the horse really straight. She sped up in the places she needed to speed up, and she took time out of her corners to jump these delicate jumps. So they should be really thrilled with that.
Very, very happy, I am sure. Ashley Bond and Donatello 141. Former winners of this class actually in 2020 together back then, and they've done a lot since then, including being 11th at the Olympic Games. They have had success after success. They won the million in thermal last year as well, back into December too. But as I say, won here previously as well. So very much another form combination that we've maybe looked past a little bit so far in our run-up. Be interesting to see.
So she does 7 into the triple. Yeah, that doesn't quite work. That's too bad. I was going to say this course actually suits a horse with a slightly smaller stride like Donnie, but she still opted to almost double add. In some of the spots where the lines were already short, she decides to go 1 extra to make sure that it's really nice and tight, and that she can keep the horse on his hind end. She does the same here to the plank. Does 1 more stride, maybe gets a hair deep and has that down. I wonder if she's going to keep going here. Yeah, she's going to keep going.
Chase it down to the finish, and let's say this. As you say, this line is not an easy one to finish off, although you feel you've done a lot of the meat of the course by here.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of the last ask of the course. It's just hard to get straight to that double. I think it's quite short in there as well. The distance doesn't really allow you to come flying in, so you need to be patient enough without completely breaking your rhythm and having the back rail. So just another tough ask from Alan Wade. That's weird. He kind of had that down with his stifles almost. Yeah. And see, she makes an adjustment here, but gets him nicely to the base. Makes light work of this last part. But yeah, I wonder if she watches that back and she maybe thinks like that she didn't need to do those extra strides in those couple places, which cost her rails.
Team Olympic gold medalist Harry Charles, 25 years of age, and that bracket's going quite well so far. We're in fact
passed 5 of our top 10 of the 6 we've got tonight, and actually only one of them through to the jump-off so far with Henrik von Eckermann, interestingly. Harry with Sherlock here, which is the horse he rode to win the London Grand Prix on the Global Tour last year. A pairing the year before that, won the World Cup qualifier in La Coruña in Spain. And again, different ride that he took to win the team gold in Paris alongside Ben Mayer and Scott Brash, of course. Now, interestingly, because Harry's also basically kept his powder dry up until this 5-star Grand Prix too.
Yeah, I think he's been building the horses up throughout the season. He's been clever about where he places them, where he goes. This is one of his younger horses that shows a lot of promise that I know he's really excited about. As you said, they've already won a couple of big 5-star Grand Prix. So far, this looks great. Another horse that's maybe a bit slower moving, so he needs to be on top of the time allowed. He puts a nice bend in that 7, like we spoke about earlier, so that he could keep the rhythm to the water, balances up well. Again, you have to find the right balance here between being efficient and not rushing your horse off their legs, because this skinny is difficult to jump. Does a nice 4. You can see he's starting to help the horse a little bit towards the end of the track. Come on, Harry.
One more left. Time should be good.
Get up. Nice.
Harry Charles gets home for the clear.
Awesome.
There's Ben from Eve Jobs' stable. And 77.09 into the jump off for Harry Charles to give us the 4th clear. We've had 5 of the world's top 10. We've got 4 clears, 3 of them 25 and under.
That's show jumping for you. You can never quite predict what's going to happen. I thought he rode a great round, though. I mean, really composed the whole way, was with his horse, helped him when he needed help, and just kind of allowed him to jump in other places. I thought he rode his track really, really well. Yeah, he should be really pleased with that. That was a great round, and that should be an exciting one to watch in the jump-off.
Brother Tom Watchman, 19 years of age, gave us the first clears. 21-year-old Max Watchman now, and Max with Susan Magnus, his grandmother's Fancy de Kurgan, of course, behind the fantastic Coolmore show jumping, and grandfather John as well, who's one of the great men in the world of racing, but the whole Magnier family and beyond that have been such huge influences on world horse sport as a whole. 21, he's already a young rider, gold medalist. And again, moving into the 5-star with this one, his horse has been ridden with Keane O'Connor, his trainer, a number of times now, Fancy de Kerguin. And it'll be really interesting to see here with this 10-year-old.
Yeah, he cruises up the inside line in 7, just like his brother did. Again, similar horses, big stride, big scope. So they're going to try to execute similar plans here. Clearly worked well. Oh! Just maybe gapped him a tiny bit to that Oxer, looked a hair far away, and that's just too wide of a jump and too impressive of a jump to not, really nail out of that corner. I wonder if he's going to keep going. No, he's just going to jump the first jump and come out.
I mean,
that's smart. Yeah, that's the right thing to do as a horseman for sure.
Yeah, and as I say, they're building this partnership. That's a 165 Oxer coming out there. So, he's done, as you say, the right horsemanship plan there.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's challenging. I think this is another newer partnership. I think they're still getting to know each other at this level. You always feel with a horse that's slower moving, that spends time in the air, that you really have to be on top of your time allowed from the get-go.
Here are the qualifiers for the jump-off so far as we complete the first half. With Tom Watchman and Tabasco de Toxandra, Henrik von Eckermann, King Edward, Emily Conte, Portobello, and Harry Charles in there as well. Very well done to them. First half completed. 5 of the 6 from the world top 10 are behind us as well in this $500,000 Bainbridge Company's Grand Prix tonight as well. But we are still going into the strongest of those coming out of the qualifiers too, and that is to come in part 2 in just a few moments' time. So join us after the break as we build up to the second half of round 1 of this Bainbridge Company's $500,000 Grand Prix here tonight. Back in a minute.
Bainbridge is a fully integrated multifamily real estate company that has developed and acquired more than 43,000 units, representing $8.1 billion in transactions since its inception. With over 650 associates nationally, Bainbridge engages in virtually every step of the real estate process, from development and construction to acquisition and disposition, asset management, and third-party management of multifamily real estate. Bainbridge is the 20th largest multifamily developer and 19th largest multifamily builder in the United States. Our team of experienced and knowledgeable professionals are devoted to creating exceptional living experiences for all of our residents and building lasting and mutually beneficial relationships with our partners and clients. Bainbridge is headquartered in Wellington, Florida, with offices and apartment communities in Florida, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, Maryland, and Texas. To learn more, visit www.thebainbridgecompanies.com.
Welcome back to the Bainbridge $500,000 Grand Prix here from Wellington. Just going into our maintenance break, and we're going to go and catch up with Ali Wolf, who's with one of our big clears, 4 clears so far in this major Grand Prix tonight. And it's a very good evening to Ali.
Hey, Stephen. Yeah, I'm down here with Henrik von Eckermann. We just watched an incredible round from you and King Edward. A privilege and a pleasure to always watch. Can you talk us through the course? How do you think King Edward handled the course? Any tricky parts?
No, I think he did a very good course, Alan. I mean, he's a good course builder. He's been with us for a long time. He knows what to be needed to be done, and you know, it falls a little bit everywhere. Actually, when I walked it, I thought, oh, a little bit on the easy side. But okay, we're gonna get, I think, between 8 and 10. So you know, but he built it well, and King Edward felt great the whole way around. To be honest, I think the only one he touched a little bit was the white vertical here around the corner. I was a little bit too close on it, but otherwise he finished off fantastic, and yeah, show the horse he is.
We've seen him a few times out throughout circuit, but what is your main strategy for King Edward to wrap up circuit down here?
No, I mean, I did the indoor season and had a few problems with jump-offs, and I felt that I needed to go 2 steps backwards and get a little bit more confidence again in it. And so I started here a bit quiet, and then the last 5-star, he was double clear, but I didn't really go in the jump-off. And now today, if he's, I have to say, really back in his confidence, so for sure I'm going to give it a go today.
He looks fantastic. He looks like he's playing fantastic. And I have to ask, for about 3 years now, how do you handle, is there pressure, and how do you handle that pressure?
I mean, it's pressure every time, but it's nice. That's why I like to do it, you know. I like to go in the ring and feel the pressure. The day when I don't feel that pressure to go in the ring, it's time to put a hat on the shelf, because, yeah, then the excitement is not there where it should be. But at the same time, of course, with King Edward, when you sit on him every time, you have high expectation. But like I said, you know, I'm just so happy that I have a horse like this, and can be able and try to enjoy also every round I have with him.
Absolutely. Henrik, good luck in the jump. For sure you will not need it. You guys are so incredible. Thank you so much for speaking with us, and good luck. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Ali. Good to hear from Henrik, and he's amongst 3 youthful challengers in there, in Tom Watchman, in Emily Conter, and Harry Charles. Harry, who's already proven himself with a team gold medal in, of course, Paris as well. Emily on terrific form, and Tom Watchman really is a name to watch in there as well. So that's going to be exciting. It is interesting, though, that we've already seen go by the wayside the likes of Ben Mayer, of McLean Ward, Christian Kukuk are out of the equation too. Coming up is our second half in a few moments' time. Join us back in a minute or two.
1 in 3 pet parents has used their pet's name as their password.
System hacked. System hacked. System hacked.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way to show your love.
We fly horses anywhere around the world, whether it is a hobby horse or it's an Olympic champion. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely, in best of health, and in the quickest possible of time. We understand the business better than anybody else. We do not leave any stone unturned, and we are staffed by horse people from every layer of the company. We give horses wings around the world, across the globe, or across the street.
I think I found them.
Really?
Making your dog your ring bearer is one way to show your love.
Car part. It's just a car part, look it.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way.
Something like the US Open, it would be incredible to have in your trophy room.
It is typically the hardest Grand Prix of this winter season down here.
Trying to get to the highest level. As long as I don't make a mistake, he can do this very easily. Getting closer, I would like to think, so I'm there to compete.
How about the great hitter Spencer Smith for the USA?
Obviously it's a sport, but at the same time, the only reason I do this is because I love horses. Hi, buddy.
He's really been an incredible horse.
Everyone wants to win a Rolex Grand Prix.
I think adding the US Open in a great new initiative, and I think it's only going to bring more excitement and more prestige.
More ground line, please.
First jump is nice.
It's really all leading towards the US Open.
The person that stamps their name on it is going to, kind of go down in history, and we all want to do that.
Hi, I'm Allie Wolf, and I'm down here with Tom Watchman. Tom, first off, congratulations on a first clear round, the first clear round of the evening. How does that feel being the first clear round, especially against world #1 and the like? And talk us through, how does that feel, the course feel to you?
Yeah, it feels great. The horse is unbelievable. He's so consistent. He was double clear in a 5-star Grand Prix 2 weeks ago, and delighted to be the first clear. It's a tough course by Alan Wade. Yeah, so delighted, yeah.
Absolutely. Always a challenge for Alan Wade courses. Now, also, we saw your brother, Max, and we also are going to see Kean coming up in the future, your trainer. Talk us through how that feels like competing against your brother and your trainer. Is there an in-barn rivalry?
No, we all try and help each other in the warm-up and everything, and I've watched enough of these Grand Prix in my genes watching them, so it's nice to be able to join them tonight, and hopefully can try and learn a thing or two off them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, and best of luck to you in the jump-off. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Ali. Yes, we are heating up, getting ready for that round 2. Good to hear from Tom Watchman. Like you said, it's a family occasion for them. They all get involved, and that's great to see from that point of view. Exciting lineup still to come, though, when we look down here. Laura Kraut, Renee Dittmer, Kean O'Connor's just mentioned in there, the world number 16. I'm going to go down to the likes of Kent Farrington, of course, is still to come, the new world number 2. Darragh Kenny, Daniel Bloom, and Spencer Smith in the final 3 here. Niall, you've seen how the course plays out so far.
Yeah.
Who do we feel is it's more leaning to here?
It's hard to pick them out, right? I mean, as we've seen in the first half, there's a lot of favorites that can easily put a toe on a vertical and have something down. I do think going later tonight is a big advantage, because a lot of these lines are riding a little bit more technical than what they walked. So some of these riders will have learned from the previous riders, and hopefully will get more than the 4 clears in the second half.
Give me an example.
An example of
the course where
like for example, the line to the water, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're starting to see it's a lot easier to just land and go up the inside line in 6, but if you're going to do the 7, you really have to bow that out to give yourself enough room for it. Same thing in that rollback towards the skinny at the end of the course. That's a place where all the riders are wanting to rush a little bit because it's a time fall trap, but you can't overdo it or you're going to tag that skinny behind. So little things that I think will be helpful for the second half here.
So let's look in here at our second half. Who do you think is going to jump out of here?
I think Kean has a great chance to do it. It's hard to bet against Kent. I think Tiffany had a great qualifier as well with Battle Cry. That's also a proven 5-star Grand Prix horse. I'm a big fan of Alessandro Volpi's horse, Candy Luck. Daniel Blumen's bringing out Corby, which is one of his very exciting younger mounts. I think Spencer Smith also had a great run in the qualifier. I mean, there's a good chunk of people here.
We've narrowed it down to 7
it's hard to pick.
No, but I don't blame you, because that's exactly it. it. It is going in reverse order of the WEF Challenge Cup earlier on this week. Darragh Kenny down there with 0k, which is a little bit of an unknown in there because the horse hasn't done that level before, but it had gone so well in the steps up to it.
And with such a delicate track, faults can happen so easily, right? So as we saw in the first part, some of the heavy favorites just, happen to get caught out by a little rail here, a little rail there. So, you have to be a little bit lucky as well. And I think that's kind of what it's going to boil down to. Not just execution, but having the luck on your side a little bit.
Okay, well, good luck to them all. Let's take a look at who's qualified already if you're just keeping up with what we've got here. And Tom Watchman was one of those we've just spoken to with Tabasco de Toxaltiga Z, Henrik van Eckermann and King Edward. Emily Conter in there as well with Portobello, Van der Friedkorf, and the last clear before the break coming from the Olympic team gold medalist Harry Charles and Sherlock. But as Niall says, it's really hard to pick through this second half of where, one, I think where the clears will come from, and two, where the faults might come from that side of things.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Renee Dittmer is also due for a clear round on Corsica. You have Laura Kraut coming in with maybe one of her lesser experienced horses, but also a big jumper. It's really, it's hard to pick it out. I would like to see more than 4, but we'll have to wait and see.
I think you're going to see more than 4. So those are the 4 at the moment. What will we finish up with come the end of this? I'm not even going to take a punt at what the number is because this is one of those nights where I think it could go in any direction. Let's get going with the second half of the $500,000 Bainbridge Company's 5-star Grand Prix tonight. The barrier drops, the Rolex clock ticks into the evening, and Alex Granato comes into the ring with the ride of the Kismer Equestrians Helios, stallion by Numero Uno. They finished top 10 in the Nations Cup Grand Prix just last week as well for Alex, who we heard from a little bit earlier on with Ali too. Top 5 in the NetJets Grand Prix. They won a 4-star Grand Prix last season in Traverse City in June, and continued success up there as well, and some of their owners based up that way too. And here with the stallion, he's a past Pan Am medalist. He's won World Cups on several occasions, actually, with Calcian W, of course. And at Helios now, at the age of 13, has really stepped into the boots of where Calcian W was. Yeah,
and you can see Alex really spending some time showing the horse the water. Probably a horse that hasn't jumped it too often, especially not under lights. So he just wanted to make sure that he got his eye on it, that he knew what was coming, so he didn't get too much of a surprise there. Here he gets going to fence 1. Nice, neat turn to jump 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gets the boxy 8 done. Almost runs out of room a little bit, it looked like. And just ticks the back rail.
Well, and interesting, you said they've got it done. You look like they had.
It looked like they had.
I'm not criticising them, saying it looked like they had.
No, exactly. It's hard to, like with the camera angle from the front, it gets hard to see where their takeoff point is exactly. But you did see him wrestle a little bit in the approach there, which kind of indicates that he was getting a little tight on space.
Again, this would be a partnership that wouldn't have done many 5-star Grand Prix.
Right.
So, I mean, to get out here is
and this
a plus.
is a real 5-star.
Yes.
It's got all the questions, all the demands of a 5-star course. It's delicate, but also scopy. The distances are fair, yet technical enough.
But as you found, and the point I was making with Luciana Lossio a little bit earlier on, once you start to do them week in, week out, it doesn't feel as big a leap.
That's so true. Yeah, that's very true. That 5 got quite long for him at the end. The horse started to back up a little bit. Okay, racked up a few rails along the way, but did manage to complete. I think, the horse can only grow from that. Alex did a good job guiding him around there despite the score.
So Alex Granato and Helios finishing on a total of 20 there for them. And there the MS fence then into this final line. But again, more to build on with 5-star Grand Prix coming up over the next few weeks here in Florida as well. Chased down to the final fence of the Bainbridge to complete. Mario Delorier of Canada, the Wishing Well Farms Emerson. Horse he rode at the Olympic Games for a top 20 finish. He's been a regular through the Olympic Games and just last week as well was inducted as the International Entry Award at the Hall of Fame last week as well, honouring his success. Pan Am silver medal winning team combination here too for Wishing Well Farm of New York, and first fence down. It just looked as though they just tried to take that turn just a little more than they intended.
Yeah, that was too bad. That's always feels like a very long course once you've had the first jump down. They do say the first jump, if you have it down, it's usually from a lack of preparation. The warm-up ring, maybe he didn't jump quite wide enough. Who knows? It's easy to say that from the outside, but that's a real pity because he had a good shot to jump clear tonight. This is a big jumping horse, like you said. He's been to the Olympics. A little toe on the back rail there as well.
Puts him on a score of 8 so far for Mario.
Yeah.
And the four fault is still very much in the money. So again, as you said earlier on, if you're having one fence here, then you'll really start to feel that you're still in the game.
For sure, yeah. I mean, with a class like this, with a small number of clears, and actually nobody with a clear with just time faults, you know that a fast four is still going to get you a good piece. This is quite a difficult horse to ride. He looks quite fussy with his head. So Mario does a good job trying to keep everything under wraps. Actually bringing home a decent round, just a few poles along the way. Yeah.
First fence amongst the 3 down, total of 12, 73.84 for Mario Delorier and Emerson. But like you say, once you've dropped that first rail, it's hard to sort of keep the enthusiasm running at it here. Let's take a look at it. But they just seemed as though they took it a little bit tighter than intended.
A little on the angle too, making it wider than it needs to be. It's already a wide enough first jump, maybe a hair under rhythm if you're trying to be critical here. But okay, that's just too bad.
Heading on out to Mario Delorier of Canada then, and still holding at the 4 clears. The hugely popular Laura Crouch of the USA, the St. Bride's Farms Dorado 212, the horse she rode to a Pan Am Gold, and that was in Santiago alongside the likes of McLean Ward and Kent Farring that comes up a little later on. Jump round for 4 faults on week 5, and Laura was inducted into the Jumping Hall of Fame last week, as well as their latest inductee, and well deserving of that for the Olympic gold medalist as well.
Definitely. She's going to cruise up the inside line here in 7. This is another horse that spends so much time in the air that she needs to be extremely efficient for her time allowed. You can see that's the problem with doing the 7 to the triple bar, is then the 4 get extremely short. This horse is giving a big effort. Oh boy. Come on. Get up. Beautiful. That's some excellent riding from Laura. I was going to say, the horse is backing off just a little bit. He had an awkward jump at fence 4 already, and that just makes it all the more challenging to get around this course. She gets the 6 done really well, and then sits up for this 6.
And on the 4 here, this is where you definitely do not take yourself out of the equation.
Yep.
Get down this line here clean, and you're still in for the prize money for Laura Crouch and Dorado.
Just got a little underneath that. That was a shame. I have to say, though, she did a remarkable job giving this horse confidence in the round, which is something that's very hard to do. You could tell he got a little bit frazzled, a little unraveled there at the beginning, stalled at A and B of the triple, and yet she was right there to put pressure at the right time to make sure he continues to travel forward. Opted for the 6 to the water, which was a great decision because, again, it just got the horse traveling again after it had just lost a little bit of confidence along the way, and then gets a little unraveled towards the end. The horse fights her hand, and she ends up a little deeper than she would like to the last combination. But overall, there's a lot to learn for the young riders who are watching that round.
Germany's René Dittmer for the 31-year-old from Germany. Mark Miness's Corsica, the 10th. Winners of the Hampton Classic Grand Prix last year. Top 6 in the King George V Gold Cup at Hickstead as well when they were on the squad there. They have been Grand Prix winners previously here in the December shows here in Wellington as well for the Glenhaven Farm. This is actually a really consistent combination.
Really consistent combination. Yeah, I saw that he was 46% clear at 1.60 m. That's a remarkable stat.
Yeah.
René is such a technician too. A very tall rider, but when you're that tall, you need to have excellent control over your body, and he definitely has that. This is an extremely rideable horse. He gives him all the options. You can see he makes that 4 look easy. He just sits up, and the horse rocks right back. He's going to keep rolling around this corner to make sure he gets enough swing for the back rail. Then he moves up so that he can slow down at the end. Great. Measures the 5 well. He needs to hold her straight. Very well done there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. All right, now he just needs to relax, take a breath. No need to rush here. He's already got the time allowed in the bag, I think.
No, he looked as though he was doing what you said.
Yeah, he really did. He didn't. I mean, he moved up a little bit, which you have to do. You have to keep your rhythm around that corner, but he didn't rush. He still took, a patient stride out of the corner there. Just puts a toe on the skinny. That's really unlucky. Wow.
4 faults it is, 74-72 for René Dittmer and Korska the 10th. It's actually going to put them into 5th place so far for René.
Yeah, still a good top 5 finish so far. It's hard to pick that round apart, really. I thought he did everything well. Sometimes the horses just don't jump quite high enough, and that looked like the case here.
Just going to leave them on the 4 faults in the end. It puts them into the 5th place fastest of the 4s so far for René Dittmer. And again, that balance between a good round that you're happy enough and the disappointment of going, I wanted to be in the real fight for this in the jump-off,
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's kind of, you have to see the silver lining there. The horse jumped great. He rode actually a fantastic round. It just didn't quite come off, but at least you're still going to get a piece of this with the way the class is going so far.
Mark Blumen of Columbia and Conquer PS. Now, going to be really interesting to see how Mark gets on here, because he's been so much in the frame so far this year. He was second in the Nations Cup Grand Prix with Maracana, SNL Maracana, last week as well. He was top 3 in the million with Ubeluk in thermal as well. The tail end of last year too, and he's been consistent top 3. He's really exciting in the jump off. He's got to keep this package together, and that wasn't going to quite work.
Yeah, this is a complicated horse to ride, it looks like. His reins are always a little bit long because she's got such a fussy mouth, it looks like. She uses her body really well over the jumps, but that makes it hard to stay with her. It does seem like she lands quite heavy or low sometimes, let's say, with her balance. Like after the triple bar, her head was nearly on the ground, which then makes it really hard to pick her back up. To adjust for that short 4. Oh, and now running into some issues at the water.
Yeah, she is.
Hang on, Marky, hang on.
Not having the water.
No. That's unusual for horses.
Yeah,
horses at this level, they would have seen this before.
There you go.
Wow. Good, well done, Marky. Way to just get her over there. Okay, it's all coming apart. He's probably going to pull up.
He probably will, but actually it was interesting to see she came back to the water and went, with some encouragement. But it didn't take
probably
much
just got a little surprised the first time. Again, with the lights, there's always a weird reflection in there. There's a lot to jump before you've even reached the water jump, right? So sometimes the horses start to second guess themselves a bit, and then all of a sudden something that is normally not an issue becomes a problem. So Marky is going to regroup from that. Just not his night. You have to forget about it and go home, do your homework, and come back again next week or the week after that.
US rider Katie Diner now, and Katie for the Grant Road Partners of New York without the blue SCF. Pairing that went round for 4 faults in the World Cup qualifier in Ocala just a couple of weeks ago. She's a former winner of the Washington World Cup qualifier in 2023. Former rider of Shane Sweetnam here with Out the Blue SCF from the Spy Coast Farm. And finished actually second in the World Cup qualifier in Washington last year, behind Rodrigo Pessoa and Major Tom. Really solid pairing here. And again, she does balance career, work life, research with her jumping life as well.
Definitely, yeah. Katie's a busy gal. She's got a really nice partnership going with this mare. I'm a big fan of hers. She's bred here in the United States, and I actually ride her half-sister myself. So
do you?
Yeah,
Which is that?
Paso Doble
Okay.
SCF. Yeah, she's out of the same mom, just different sire. And so I've always kind of kept tabs on her. The horse went great for Shane before Katie took over, and they've been a great partnership ever since. She goes for the 7. As you can see, the horse gets a big stretch, and she still manages to balance up for the 4. She's maybe a hair wide on her tracks compared to the other riders, especially between jumps 1 and 2. Balances up for the 6 here very nicely. A little squeeze out. Wow. So like we talked about earlier, like the horses that jump out of the triple easily end up on a very short 5 to the next vertical, and the ones that struggle to jump out, that 5 gets a little more normal. Great jump over the water. She's putting together an exceptional round so far. Just wonder how she's doing on the clock.
Might be a little bit tight.
Yeah, this also looks a little wider than the other riders did. Good jump there, does the 4. Come on, Katie.
Time allowed 79.
She should be okay.
Squeaky. Could just be.
Come on, get up.
It could just be enough.
Awesome.
And yes, it is. 77.98.
Great round. Wow.
Well plotted out there for Katie Dinan. And out to the blue SCF gives us the 5th clear round of the class of the night. Now, really wonderful reactions there from Katie.
She's thrilled, as she should be.
Yeah.
I mean, she rode that to perfection. You know, she said stayed really cool and composed. It looked like a very thoughtful round too, where she, you know, really thought through her course plan. Probably did that with Beat Manley, her trainer, and went out there and executed it. I mean, the horse could not have jumped better, and honestly, I don't think Katie could have ridden a much better round than that. She should be super pleased. Good job, team.
Really interested in the 5 that we got so far, because in that first half, like I say, we went through 5 of the world's top 10. We possibly wouldn't pull some of these out. Tom Watchman, okay, Henry van Eckermann and King Edward, Emily Conter, Harry Charles just coming back into these. Katie Dinan, superb performances.
Unreal.
Absolutely superb.
Unreal. These young riders came to play tonight. This is great to see.
Now for the World Top 20 rider, in fact, world number 16, Cian O'Connor of Ireland, Carlswood Partners, Bentley de Souris, a recent winner of the World Cup in Ocala as well. This is a combination jump round for 4 faults in Geneva in the World Cup there, former rider from Spain.
Yeah, Eduardo Aznar.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, correct. And so a newer partnership, but a well-established horse as well at 14 years of age.
Yeah, and I think he won a World Cup qualifier over in Ocala earlier. Yeah, this year. Another one that really struggles to fit in the 4, but the horse makes a great effort there.
Okay, and we're already with two pupils that have gone around as well. Tom Watchman cleanly.
Yeah, that was very well done. You can hear him use his voice a little bit, say, whoa. With the Liverpool on the backside of that vertical, it also kind of lulls you into getting a little too close, so he did a great job balancing up. You can see him put the bend in that 7 that we talked about earlier. That was well done. Excellent. Now here, you got to find the balance between turning short, but keeping them loaded up well so they can climb the skinny. Excellent. Steps up in the 4. That was well done. This double is going to be quite short for a big horse like this. Oh, yeah. I did call it.
You did.
Yeah, he just almost found it too nicely. You know, he just kind of caught the oxer out of stride. You know, never really set the horse back on its hind legs. The horse was jumping great, but that 4 did get a little bit flat for him because he had to turn so short to the skinny for the time allowed. And then I would have liked to see him just regroup a little bit. As you can see, he just kind of flows in there really nicely. I mean, nothing wrong with that, right? But just for the point of the course where he was at and for the forward jump that he got on the Hermes Oxer, he probably needed to take a breather, maybe do an extra stride there just to give the horse a little bit more time for the B element of that double.
So Ireland's Cian O'Connor just missing out there. He goes into 9th place so far. The top 4 faulter is René Dittmer in 6th spot at the moment. Ben Mayer still sitting in 7th on the 4 faults as well. 5 clears in this Bainbridge Grand Prix here tonight. Top 3, as you see there, from the week 6 Grand Prix.
Yep.
Catherine Driscoll now, and the combination of Don Stewart's Hidalgo. Second in the Southern Arches Grand Prix as well. That was behind you, Niall Nasser. But, you know, she's had amazing 2 years as well. Worked so hard and with Katie Prudhomme and Ori in the team, and has really been getting success after success here in the United States, and even a few trips to Europe as well.
Yeah, really cool to see a young professional who puts in the work get this sort of opportunity that she's got right now. You know, jumping some big shows with great horses. She's really an excellent rider. You know, great body control, always super focused, puts in the time with her horses. Again, this is probably a horse that hasn't really seen a track like this before, yet she's giving it a marvelous experience. Stays a little too far on the inside line for my liking.
Ooh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. She was almost.
Did well.
She was, great recovery there. She was almost just on. She was on the line for 6 and did 7, right? So it just ran out of room at the water, unfortunately. The horse had a bit of a stumble, and she recovered great. Just a touch on the skinny, which we've seen a lot of tonight. And here you see her really square up, take her time. Quite a good round, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to be inside the time at 77.32. Recovers there, but on the 8 for Catherine Driscoll with that foot in the water. Splash down there with Hidalgo, and then back on the loop back there. But from her, again, she keeps building into these big. Now she's making a place for us in these big Grand Prix.
Absolutely. No, she 100% looks like she belongs out there. She's riding great.
As you say, they got right up to the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A bit of a stumble. She was great to find her balance after that, not lose her stirrups. Clearly has a very strong equitation background. She works with Katie and Henri Prudhomme, 2 of the best in the business. So, you know, they've geared her up for this, and she really showed her class there. Alex Matz.
Alex Matz, speaking of the best in the business behind you, both mum and dad, really.
Yeah.
Alex, of course, son of Didi, and what have they done amazing things, and of course the great Michael Matz as well. Yep. Junior Cannon into their first 5-star Grand Prix as well. He won the Toronto World Cup last year as well. That was a huge success. He actually won another class there that week as well. Had an amazing week in Toronto.
Unreal, yeah.
And again, just keeps coming up. He's performed on a number of teams, the US, over in Europe as well.
Yeah, definitely. Alex is, you know, one of the young stars of the sport. Like you mentioned, comes from a very horsey family, just punches the front pole there. But again, this is a horse doing its first 5-star Grand Prix. Funny enough, this horse was presented to me as a 3-year-old, free jumping, and it jumped unbelievable back then with no rider on its back. Really showed all of its talent. And then as it developed through the ranks, it maybe looked slightly less impressive, but now that it's matured and probably allowed its body to catch up to his mind, he's actually turned into a wonderful partner for Alex. Jumped a great round in the WEF qualifier earlier this year, and actually putting together an incredible round right now for it being its first 5-star Grand Prix.
Kenan, the most represented stallion here tonight as well.
Interesting. And he has to be really thrilled with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good time as well, 74.64, just on the 4 faults there for Alex Matz. In fact, he's the fastest of the 4 faulters now. Junior Cannon going into 6th place, pushes René Dittmer down into 7th, Ben Mayer into 8th place on the 4 faulters. 4 faulters still in the money for the top 12 as it stands. But as you say, I'd like the look of this horse, like the style of this horse.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, honestly, I think he has to be really proud of that result. That's, you know, a great building block for the future of that partnership, of the horse. Again, I wouldn't have pegged this horse to jump around this Grand Prix so easily, but Alex really gave it an unbelievable ride there.
Let's see if we same for this Alex now.
Yeah.
Alessandra Volpi, the 24-year-old here from the United States, the Cedar Fox of California's Candy Luck said, finished well in the Grand Prix at Angelstone last season. She's jumped some really good rounds in the Grand Prix so far this season, including with Gypsy Love as well. Jumped double clear in the WEF week 5 Grand Prix there as well. Went round for the 4 faults on week 7 as well. And
Alex is having a great circuit so far on all of her horses. This partnership has been together for about a year now, so this is the time where she's probably going to feel like she really knows this horse. Another one that just has that green vertical on the short 4. This horse does get a little reactive with its mouth. It does look like, It did look like when Alex went to balance up in that 4, she just threw her head a little bit, maybe lost her shape, and put a toe on that vertical. A little bit of a stumble at the Liverpool Oxer, but Alex does a great job just rebalancing the horse, making sure she has a good experience through the triple combination. And it looks like now they're well on their way to making the rest of this course look relatively easy. A big jump over the water, moves up nicely in the 6. Also not a horse with all the experience at this level, so Alex is just going to continue to make sure that, you know, the horse gets a good experience tonight. Rides that quite well, just cuts down a little early there. And good finish. Yeah, that's too bad. A few rails, but honestly nothing disastrous, not a bad round by any means. Just a little bit of bad luck, a bit of inexperience, I'd say. But overall, you know, she shouldn't be too disappointed with that.
12 jumping one time, early flick there for Alessandro Volpi. And so, as you say, puts them with a bit of time to come into the equation here. A little bit of a dip down into this teal tower. I think maybe lost, wasn't sure whether they lost a shoe at that point as well.
Yeah, looks like it.
Ireland and Jordan Coyle, the Alan Farms Chacolino by Chaco Blue for Jordan here. Jumped the Rolex Grand Prix last season. Went round for 2 time faults in the WEF 7 Grand Prix, into the Lugano Grand Prix there as well for them. So it'd be really interesting. Because again, it's one that's getting more and more exposure in the 5 stars this season with Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan, a very talented rider, can really ride any type of horse. This is an exciting one in his string. You know, it looks like a bigger type with a lot of scope.
And that's the thing, he's got so many different types in the string.
He does,
I mean,
yeah.
4 Gold that he was on the podium with last year in the 5-star Grand Prix. Small, totally different type.
Totally different. Wow. This is just getting a little short for him. Good job there. I wonder if he's going to go on the inside 6 or the outside 7 to the water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was well done. He landed and just waited up for 3 strides so that he could then move up for the next 4. You can see the horse is dragging him a little bit out of the tack now. Starting to get a little tired towards the end of the course. Jordan's just going to have to nurse him around here. Get square, sit up. Nice. Wow.
Good. Really good round from Jordan Coyle. 78-38, and really worked their way around there. Jordan Coyle and Chacolino to give us the 6th clear, and in there for Ireland for Jordan and Chacolino. And like you say, it was a really patient round.
Patient round. He did all the right things at the right time. You could tell, you know, a rider with a lot of experience, with a lot of talent. You know, he puts the pieces in the right place, and you know, that really showed tonight. Even here, you know, gets nicely to the base so that he doesn't get too big of a jump, can balance up for the B element of that, and then just nicely steps up in the 5, holds the horse nice and straight. You can see him watching the clock there, waiting for it, making sure it's not going to tick over the 79 seconds, but he's under, he's clear, and that's one more for the jump off.
It is. Another one for Ireland in there in the jump off as well. Of course, Tom Watchman, who will start off that jump off. Henrik von Eckermann, Emily Conter, Harry Charles. Now 2 out of our second half with Katie Dunn and Jordan Coyle. Brazil, Eduardo de Menezes in the H5 Sport Horses, H5 El Varo by Calvaro FC. For the Pan Am gold medalist, goes back to 2019. He won both classes here actually on Wednesday in the run-up. So got into the groove here with Eduardo.
He does 9 to the triple bar, interestingly enough, but he does it well. He stays nice and wide to give himself the space, and then it makes the 4 actually very manageable. This is a horse he's had since it was a young horse, so he's developed him all the way through the ranks. Always cool to see a partnership that know each other inside out. And Eduardo, a very tall rider. I want to say he's about 6'5", 6'6", maybe even taller. So he has to have very good control over his upper body, which he does. I've always been a huge fan of his style of riding.
Now, interesting because he landed afterwards and sort of was coming quiet for a couple of strides.
Exactly.
And then obviously either felt it or knew it.
Yeah, yeah. It almost seemed like the horse balanced up so well in the first 2 or 3 strides that the 7 almost got long for him. Probably the horse also taking a look at the water. You could see Eduardo go to his whip a little bit there. Another one that's just going to come away with the foot in the water. That's a real shame. Still a very well-ridden round. That's too bad. You can see him shaking his head there.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. They didn't deserve that.
Well, Water gives them 4. It's 77.97 for Eduardo de Menezes, and H5 Elvaro will put them into 13th place at just outside the money. From there, I'm afraid, actually, his pupil, Carlos Sanguerrero, sits in 12th spot at the moment with H5 Shack Attack. But yes, they were happy to just really get more flapping energy at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nope, shake of the head. No.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So close, nearly there.
Oy.
And he does the same.
That's too bad.
Yeah, disappointment of knowing they were so close, Eduardo de Menezes. Late withdrawal from Tiffany Foster, so actually we're going to Kent Farrington now. Kent, the 2-time Grand Prix winner already this season here in Wellington. He's also been winning in Ocala, he's been winning in Thermal, he's been winning just about
everywhere on every
everywhere.
horse in every class. Yeah,
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's been a remarkable run of form lately. You can see Kent talking to himself, going over his plan.
Right, Hetty McNerney's miler. Now, interestingly, as I said, he's won the 2 Grand Prix so far with Greya this season. So made a change here onto the 10-year-old, former rider of Sergio Moya of Spain. And now up to number 2 in the world, 29 points away from the world number 1. Now, here's a bit of the grudge match because the world number 1 is into the jump-off.
Yeah, exactly.
All these points could be very much on the table.
For sure.
And you'll claim it's not in your mind, but it will be.
Yeah, I mean, Kent's a competitor. You know, he's won enough to warrant being in that number 1 spot. So he's going to be determined tonight. Again, only a 10-year-old horse, so probably lacks a bit of experience for this level, but there's nobody better to guide it around. Make sure he gives her the best possible ride. Oh, I think was that 7? I don't know. Beautiful. Super elastic through the triple, jumps out easily. So far, this is looking very good. Wow, what a turn. 7. Good water jumper. He hardly had to make any effort to get her across. Good. He's already taken care of his time allowed with his short turn, so he can just afford to chill out a little bit here, make sure she stays calm. Excellent. So funny, a very small horse, but actually covers the ground really, really well. Oh.
Again, audible groan from the arena, and probably from a lot more than that. This is just on the forward, 75.36 for Kent Farrington and Myler. It's going to put them in 9th place so far.
Yeah.
Not going to quite have the jump-off battle between the world number 1 and world number 2. We were looking forward to that.
Yeah, but we might have to wait another week for that. That's okay.
We can save that for the Rolex Grand Prix. We'll see.
It's tough to pick that apart. It looked like he got in there really well. The horse is jumping the back rail so easily the whole way around that you would have never expected it to come down like that. I'm pretty sure he went 1 extra stride to the triple combination, which for his horse probably made sense. The way she jumped it, it definitely was the right decision there.
Australian Olympic rider Tyser Irwin now running for Michael and Wendy Smith here in the US of Middleburg, Virginia. This is Hialeah B and a ride from the Olympic Games as well. And again, we're coming into a final 6. So these were the 6 best from the qualifier too. She's jumped a number of really good clears with this horse in the last few weeks as well. They really clicked in and went round for 4 faults in 2024 as well. They were 4th in the WEF Challenge Cup on week 7 and showing some really good consistency from Tyser from Australia, as I say, US based now.
Yeah, this has been a really fun partnership for me to watch. A chestnut mare, so she has a lot of character. She's difficult in the warm-up ring, but Tyser has done a wonderful job just keeping her settled and really learning the ins and outs of how to ride her. The mare has really come into her own over the past year or so, as has Tyser. And it's been really exciting. She jumped a great double clear in the WEF. She was right up there in the last 5-star as well. So I'm excited to see what they can put together here tonight. A horse that really pings off the ground. you know, it gets a lot of elevation in the triple. It's a little touch coming out. Hopefully that's enough to just sharpen her up for the rest of the way here. You see she's shying away from the edge of the ring. Taisa does a good job keeping her out. 4, 5, 6, 7. Another one that ended up a little on the inside line, but the horse made a great effort. Yeah. It's always the struggle with a sensitive horse. When you have to put pressure at the water, the next jump gets very difficult. Oh, and you can see now she's, yeah, that looks a little too wide for me.
This is going to be very tight up time. I don't think they're going to get there.
Yeah, the horse just kind of took a little peek at the in gate, it looked like, and fell to the outside, and she ended up really wide back. Oh, she might just make it. Get there.
Might be wrong. Sadly not. 79.51. It is one time for Taisa Owen and Hialeah to be. Smile across the face.
Got to be happy with that still.
That was still a terrific round, and I'm glad, as followed up in what I was saying in the run-up to this, that she's jumped so many solid clears now. That this was sort of what I was hoping and expecting would come out tonight.
Yeah, no, that was excellent. She really rode a great round. Like we said, you know, she maybe had to put a bit of pressure at the water. I could hear you, Stephen, saying "whoa, whoa" to the plank, so the horse started to take over a little bit, and then it just looked like in the roll back to the skinny, she ended up way wider than she had anticipated. You know, the in gate is there. The horses have already given quite a big effort. They can start to shy away from the jumps and towards the in gate, and that's kind of just where she picked up her time fault.
She'll go into 7th place.
That's still a great result.
Yeah,
she should be thrilled with that. Yeah.
US rider Elise Oken now, and Elise with the High Hopes Farms Gelvira and the Dutch bred horse by Quality Time. Again, like Alex Volpe, working with the Beerbaums there with Marcus and Meredith, and with great success as well. Finished 6th in the World Cup qualifier in Ocala just the other day. Top 3 in the World Cup qualifier in Traverse City. That was back in September. It was back-to-back there with the American Gold Cup, where they went round for 5 faults on that occasion too. And so it'd be really interesting to see how they fare tonight.
Yeah, Lisi has done a wonderful job developing some of these horses. She's had them since they were young. This one is one of her reliable ones at this point that has stepped up into, you know, World Cup classes, gotten her qualified for the World Cup final. She's riding great. The horses are in great shape. I'm really curious and excited to see what they can put together here. Just looked like she ran out of room there. Yeah, that 6 got so tight that, I mean, when they have A, B, and C down, you know that, you know, there's likely a mistake that was made entering that triple combination. Always hard to see with these camera angles when you're looking directly from the front, but you could tell from her body language and from the horse's body language that didn't come up just right for them, unfortunately.
Well, sensibly decides to call it a day there for Elise Oken and Gelvira from that point of view. And so they will retire. Still holds the 6 clears at the moment. Katie Dynan, Jordan Coyle coming out of this second half of the clears today. Remains just with 4 to go in the first round of this $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix here tonight. Nina Malavé of France, another of the under-25 riders that I would not be surprised to see produce a big round here. Nina with Dynasty de Beaufort for the Rain family, who've been terrific supporters to her. And she won 3 classes up in Ocala. She was the winner into the classes here in the under-25. She was top 3 in the Monaco Grand Prix last year. She's been top 3 in a Grand Prix here this season already. And finishing well in the World Cup qualifiers, top 5 for that. Had a fall where you can see her legs just
I was wondering, I was going to
there.
ask you
Had
if
a fall
you
in
knew.
the U25.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And that was at the water.
Oh, ouch.
Different ride then from that point of view. And as would seem is with her, she was very determined she was getting back in the saddle as soon as they made her take a few days off.
She's as tough as they get. I mean,
it was pretty bad bruising, but
yeah.
That was it, thank you.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Good.
Elaine Storman's training her these days now as well.
Yeah, we've seen that Oxford come down quite a few times tonight. A tough rollback early in the course, you know, a big wide jump with Liverpool to draw the horse's attention away. Again, I've always thought that setting those Liverpools on the diagonals in this ring gets very tricky for the horses because of the reflections. You can see, yeah, it's kind of come apart a little bit. That's a shame. She's had an unbelievably good circuit. She's been riding great, you know, in the U25 division, the 5-star division, really all the way through. Rides for the Rain family, a wonderful family, big supporters of the sport. Yeah, it just didn't quite go their way tonight, but, you know, she's tough enough to be riding this class injured, so she'll definitely be tough enough to come back another day. Yeah, it looked like she was maybe a little far away there with the way the horse stretched over that oxer. Little mistakes. Yeah, at this level, there's really no margin of error. You know, you have to be spot on the whole way around, and unfortunately, just didn't quite work out for them tonight. That's okay.
Into the final three of the first round, and Spencer Smith of the United States of America, Keeneland, and for the Ashton Farms and Stormbridge Capital, they were on the winning team for the US squad at the Nations Cup in Dublin last year. They competed at the Nations Cup final, and is a really interesting combination to see here by Carmina Z. Which was stunning. Actually, it was ridden by Sarah Coulter at one point, and Harry Smollers, and before that, Shane Bree.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Spencer is really high on this horse. Great stats to go along with it. 46% clear at 1.60 m. Basically 1 out of 2 times clear. So I'm sure Spencer is hungry for this class. This horse had a great qualifier as well. It's always hard to know, right? Like when they go fast in the WEF qualifier, if they make the jump off and actually decide to give the class a go, you know, how settled will the horse be when they come back out for a big Grand Prix like this? You know, some horses have absolutely no problem with it. Other ones start to get a little bit quick. They start anticipating the speed a little bit and maybe find rails along the way. But let's see what Spencer can do here today.
Going to be Spencer Smith, Daniel Blumen, and Darragh Kenny as our final three to go. 6 clears at the moment in this $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix tonight. Been a fascinating story so far.
Oh, nice. Come on, get up.
Spencer still on time as well. He's looking good.
Yeah, he's been very neat in his turns. He probably saw, you know, a lot of horses back up off that Liverpool oxer, and he overrode it a little bit to make sure that the horse was going to get over the back rail. He's putting together a great round so far. It looks like he's okay on time. Just don't rush here. Oh. Wow. I wonder if the horse reacted to the groans from the crowd there. That was very strange. Just lost his concentration. Spence was really good to just circle right back, not waste too much time, come back and jump it. But unfortunately, your night's over after that. That's too bad. And he almost made the time allowed with a circle. I mean,
I was going to say
that's remarkable.
He's going to pick up time, obviously, because he took a spin there. But a jumping 3 time 81.35 for Spencer Smith. And Keeneland jumps here, just has the fence down, and then, as you say, just hears or whatever, something.
Very strange. I mean, Spencer is looking down at the bridle. I wonder if maybe something got caught. If something got caught in the horse's mouth. Or that was very odd. Very odd, and really undeserved. He rode a great round up until that point.
2 left to go, and it is Daniel Blumen, and Daniel twice winner of this Grand Prix with L'Adriano Z, and can he do it again? Pairing that finished second in the World Cup qualifying, Santa Anita, into last year as well over in California. There's the mare Corby VV, jumped very well in Traverse City in the World Cups there too. For Abigail Wexner, who's of course been the long-time owner with Beezy Madden as well, and going to be really something to see this 10-year-old now getting some exposure, because I saw this horse as a 9-year-old on the tail end of last year several times. And looked very impressive.
Very impressive jumper. A lot of blood, really a modern show jumper. Is bred by Kornet Obolensky, so the mouth can be a little bit tricky sometimes. You can see Daniel already having to work a little bit to make the adjustment to the triple bar. A big check off the ground there to make sure Corby stays paying attention. Did have a little bit of trouble in the triple combination. Oh, yikes. In the last 5-star Grand Prix, so he's going to want to nail this. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I was a little surprised to see them entered in this class. Honestly, I would have expected them to regroup a little bit after the horse essentially did the same thing in the last 5-star Grand Prix. But okay, Daniel knows what he's doing. He probably got a good feeling earlier on in the week and decided to give this class a go. But
and they were second in the WEF. So
and they were second in the WEF, so there's no reason to really question yourself. But this horse does have so much quality, and I know that Daniel really believes in her. So, yeah, I would have expected him to just take a little bit of time to regroup, and unfortunately he's paying the price here. Oh, he's going to come back to it.
He's going to come back to it.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
The WEF class, by the way, was Gemma W. But as you say,
right.
Corby went well in the run-up.
Yeah. Okay, he's just going to keep going here to give the horse a little bit of experience. He's had a couple of classes now where things haven't quite gone according to plan. So, you know, in a way, once your round is over, in a sense, you can actually just settle in and try to give the horse, you know, a good round to boost its confidence a little bit, and that's exactly what Daniel's doing. Very good.
Home with time, but the key is coming home.
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
main point to the round.
Yeah, actually did a great job putting it all back together, giving the horse a little confidence again. I mean, I don't think the horse was trying to be naughty or anything. It just, you know, had a big, had a big effort at the Oxer before, and that kind of, you know, gets everything a little discombobulated. The horse maybe gets a little over sharp because of the mistake that it made previously. And Daniel just took a breath. He said, you know what, I'm just going to come back to this. I'm going to give the horse some good miles, and it'll only help them for the next time they come out here.
Final combination to go into this Bainbridge $500,000 Grand Prix. Darragh Kenny of Ireland to the Oakland Training and Sales 0K. The pairing that did win the WEF Challenge Cup earlier on this week, the adequate class there. He's been second in the 5 stars with Eddie Blue already this season. He won the London World Cup qualifier. Finished well in the NetJets Grand Prix with this horse as well. But as I said, with this mare a little bit earlier on, 11-year-old, newer one to him, has had some good riders on this horse in between as well. Martin Fuchs at one point as well, and with what was one of his pupils, Andrei Oplitek, as well, previous to this. But he's in a little of unknown territory here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at some point you do have to give it a go. Darragh is, you know, a real technician. So much talent, so much feel. Strong ride there. And balances up well for the 6. Excellent. Very good. You can see he's just motoring around this turn, making sure he takes care of the time allowed. He waits up a little bit and then presses up to the water, gets a great effort there. He's riding a great round. All right, Darragh, just keep it together here. Already taking care of your time allowed. Just jump the skinny. Get up. Nice. Super. Oh, this one is quite short.
Time's not going to be an issue.
That is some riding right there. Good job. Wow.
That is some job there from Darragh Kenny.
Unreal.
And will give us the final one to go with the clear there, Darragh Kenny and 0K. 0 faults. Once again, winners of the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup earlier on this week, the Grand Prix qualifier. Could they do the double? Niall, how impressed were you with that?
Very, 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 very impressed. But again, I'm never surprised when Darragh jumps a clear round because he's just, you know, he's proven time and time again that he has the ingredients to do it regardless of what he's riding, and he showed his class tonight. That was impressive.
7 into the jump off, and an interesting 7 here, Niall, because Tom Watchman, the 19-year-old from Ireland, starts us off with Tabasco de Toxaltigo. As said, well-proven horse and getting more proven rider. The second pair are the best of the best. Henrik von Eckermann, the world #1, and King Edward. Emily Conter, superb round so far this season too, with Portobello van der Fruitkopf. Harry Charles, Sherlock for the Olympic gold medalist. Katie Dinan, out of the blue SCF. Jordan Coyle and Chakalino will give us clear round number 6. And finally, Darragh Kenny in the driving seat with that final round in there with, of course, 0K. I'm not sure which way this will go.
I have no idea. Yeah, it's a hard one to call. Again, some unexpected riders, some expected ones in this jump off. You know, a good mix of very experienced talent and some greener, you know, less experienced riders. So, yeah, it's hard to pick one out of the pack here.
Looking forward to seeing how this goes into the jump off for the $500,000 Bainbridge Company's 5-star Grand Prix. Join us after the break as this all starts to take shape here in Wellington. Back in a few moments. We'll see you then.
If only every adventure began with your makers of wishes come true. If only they anticipated every aspect of your imagination. They would remind you that surprises are for the child in all of us. Help you celebrate successes and ensure all your milestones are absolutely unforgettable. What if only was possible? It is with only NetJets.
I drink Brain Java House Brew, packed with the brain power blend of essential vitamins and minerals my brain needs every day to get it done. Be mindful, be present, turn on your brain.
Located in the heart of Wellington, Gold Coast Feed is your one-stop shop for all your equine needs. From top-tier feed brands to the finest quality hay and bedding, we've got everything to keep your horse thriving. Our friendly staff is always on hand to offer assistance, ensuring your horse receives the care it deserves. Need a larger delivery? We'll bring it right to your farm, unloaded and ready. It's simple, convenient service you can count on. Short on time? Order online at goldcoastfeed.com and get your essentials delivered to your doorstep or farm today. Gold Coast Feed, where your horse's well-being is our priority. Visit us at goldcoastfeed.com and experience the difference.
Welcome back. 7 clears, lights, cameras, action, all set for the jump off in just a few moments' time of this $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix. Some terrific rounds that are not part of that jump off as well. There's lots of stories there too. And to find out one of them is Dan. We'd hand over to Ali Wolf.
Hey, Stephen. I'm down here with Tyza Irwin. Tyza, time fault, but to finish 8th place in this $500,000. What are your takeaways from the round? Where do you think you maybe had that time fault?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So happy with how my horse jumped. For me, I put leg at the water because a lot of people had a fault there, and I just got her back in the 6 to the plank. But just the fact that you put leg on that horse, you lose rideability. So after that, I was too wide back to the skinny.
And now your input as a rider, what do you think? We saw so many faults at the water tonight. What do you think that was all about?
Yeah, we haven't had a water so far this season. Haven't had one under light, so I think that's the main factor of it. I think it was beautifully set up out of the turn. It was a little bit bending 7. A few people did 6, but it was a little long maybe in 6. So I think you just had to ride it well. You had to stay out on 7 and keep your leg and get right up to the base and support them in the air. And I think it was just that we don't see it that much anymore.
And finally, do you have a prediction for who might win the jump off tonight?
So I would like to say either Katie Dinan or Emily Conter. I would love one of the ladies to win tonight. Having said that, we have Enric von Eckermann with his famous horse King Edward.
Absolutely. Congrats on your 8th place. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you, Ali, and we will see who it is because lights are shining and we are getting closer to the jump off. We're back in a few moments' time.
Use their pet's name as their password.
System hacked. System hacked. System hacked.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way to show your love.
Something like the US Open, it would be incredible to have in your trophy room.
It is typically the hardest Grand Prix of this winter season down here.
Trying to get to the highest level. As long as I don't make a mistake, he can do this very easily. Getting closer, I would like to think, so I'm there to compete.
How about the gray here, Spencer Smith for the USA?
Obviously, it's a sport, but at the same time, the only reason I do this is because I love horses. Hi, buddy.
He's really been an incredible horse.
Everyone wants to win a Rolex Grand Prix.
I think adding the US Open in a great new initiative, and I think it's only going to bring more excitement and more prestige.
More ground line, please.
First jump is nice.
It's really all leading towards the US Open.
The person that stamps their name on it is going to, kind of go down in history, and we all want to do that.
I think I found them.
Really?
Making your dog your ring bearer is one way to show your love.
Car part. It's just a car part, look it.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way.
Welcome back to the Winter Equestrian Festival, and it's certainly hot here in Florida. Big night ahead to conclude the $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix here tonight. 7 go into the jump-off, 7 exciting combinations, and a few surprises maybe in there as well. So who will win this Bainbridge Grand Prix here tonight? Thank you to Bainbridge as well, our great sponsor, based here in Wellington, with offices across the country as well, from Tampa to Washington, from Atlanta to Austin, and Bainbridge, one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of multifamily real estate. Well, alongside me is Niall Nassau, who's been watching all the action and talking us through the action here tonight as well. 7 in the jump-off, Niall, and I said it in there because we had 6 of the world's top 10, and we've got one of them through. So we've done all the previewing, we've done all the running up to it, and really we've got most of it wrong.
Yeah, just shows how unpredictable this sport really is. You know, you can never pick a winner out of the pack, and yeah, some surprises tonight, but also some expected results.
Well, it's going to see Tom Watchman starting off, Henrik von Eckermann, Emily Conser, Harry Charles, Katie Dinan, Jordan Coyle and Darragh Kenny all into that jump-off. But we're going to take a look at the course as well for that jump-off of what faces them, and it's a really interesting track set by Alan Wade. Fidelity Investments, presenting sponsor of our course animations here. So let's take a little look around, and it's going to start over a new fence, 15 this time. Niall, right the way down to 12.
Yeah, I didn't quite walk that, but I heard some riders discussing maybe a 9. It's probably quite far away, considering you have a rollback right after that to a big, tall vertical, and then you're just going to loop right back around here.
And you're going right across the centre again here to fence 5, which was
a difficult
the towers.
Jump. Yeah, a difficult jump. And then you go to BC of the triple, which I would expect to be 8 strides down there. And then a nice long loop back turn.
I love the way you say nice and long.
Yeah.
Long loop back down to here too, and a really long.
And then a really long gallop to the finish, which should make it really exciting for the crowd here.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fast finish here for the $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix tonight. That's the course. Thank you to Fidelity once again there. But Bainbridge are presenting sponsor of the Grand Prix here tonight. 7 combinations left to come into the jump-off. And this is what they look like. Tom Watchman, the 19-year-old, goes first with Tabasco de Toxanto Gazette. The World Cup winning, the Olympic gold medal winning, I can lose track in here as well. They've won everything. Henrik von Eckermann and King Edward for Sweden. Emily Conser, Portobello van der Fruithof for Belgium. The gold medalist in Harry Charles with a different rider this time in Sherlock. Katie Dinan and Out to the Blue SCF. Really strong contenders, former President's Cup winners together. And Jordan Coyle after that with Chacolino that he guided around so well. 2 Irish to finish off with Darragh Kenny. Could he be lifting the trophy? Of course, former winner of the 5-star Grand Prix here with Amsterdam. That was back onto week 5, previous week there, back a couple of seasons, back last season. 0K could be the one tonight for him. We will see. Packed house again here in Wellington, and I really do mean a packed house. There is a few breathers at the moment, but the empty seats, they've literally probably gone off to grab a Coke or
a beer
or whatever. Or to lose one, but they will be back in their seats because it is standing room only here in this wonderful arena here in Wellington. It is stacked to the rafters, and it's wonderful to see so many people out there as well. So many of the local community come out. They start arriving here for a 7:15 class at about 4:30 in the afternoon. They
amazing.
Come and get their seat, dropped in. And it is wonderful to see such wonderful support of the sport out there as well. And so, not too far away, there's Alan Wade in the white, just walking across. He's the course designer here tonight. Brilliant course designer, really clever course designer that he is. World Championships, World Cup finals, and some of the best Grand Prix that Wadey's built, both here in the United States and across the world so far. And looking forward to seeing what he's got in the jump off. What was your overall assessment of the first round, Niall, from Alan's work?
Honestly, I think he nailed it. You know, having 7 clears is probably just the right number. He probably would have expected a couple more just to make it interesting for this crowd. As you can see, Keane giving some last-minute instruction here as we get started off with this 7-man jump off.
Cian O'Connor there giving the final instruction to 19-year-old Tom Watchman of Ireland. His biggest moments so far into the 5-star Grand Prix. For the Coolmore show jumping, he's steeped in racing history, in horse history in Ireland, and literally across the world. They're one of the biggest names in horse sport, and it is the two brothers have been contending tonight, but now we're down to Tabasco de Toxantiga Z. Can they get the hot sauce on this for Tom Watchman to start off his big moment in the spotlight? Here we go for the already young rider and junior gold medalist. But that's how young he is.
Incredible, really incredible. I mean, for him to be leading off this 5-star Grand Prix jump off must be a really cool feeling for him. It's never easy to go first. You know, I'm not envious of his spot here, but he rode an impeccable first round, and hopefully he can bring it back with another double clear performance.
Early rollback here. They've replaced the plank for a pole.
Yep. Oh, it's a little deep there, but that's okay. She needs to get going again. This Oxer was hard enough to jump in the first round when you had the time to square up to it. Now, oh, I think he leaves one out there. What an effort.
It's really tight so far, isn't that? That's the point. He's not racing too much, but he's getting some really sensible moves in.
I think that's what you have to do. First to go, you just want to jump a clear round, put pressure on other people, leave the jumps up. This is not the most naturally quick horse, so it does have a big stride, and he's trying to use those long gallops to maybe leave some strides out. Lost a little bit of time in that rollback. The time is definitely beatable, but he's got to be thrilled with this night. I mean, a double clear performance in a class like this, such a young rider, you know, with a relatively fresh partnership, really. So, lots to be happy about for the Coolmore team.
Absolutely. Well, very good stuff from Tom Watchman. He finished one in the World Cup qualifier 2 weeks ago as well, and puts a really solid performance together for the young Irishman. The 19-year-old sets the standards with the clear, as you say, beatable time, 45.63, but it should leave him in a good position.
Yeah.
All eyes on the holding on to the number 1 spot, world number 1, Henrik von Eckermann, and the wonderful King Edward as well, which has been one of the greatest horses in the sport with this partnership. This is a privilege and a pleasure, hopefully, to watch these two here tonight. They've been getting back on their feet. They were top 5 in the previous Grand Prix as well on week 7.
And you could tell that night he really didn't let the cat out the bag, so to speak. He kept everything under wraps. He knows that King Edward had been losing a little bit of confidence in the jump off, so he kept his turns a little bit wider and made sure the horse, you know, got a confident experience. And let's see what he's going to do tonight. 1, 2, 10. Oh.
Tight enough back to it.
Oh, you can see he's starting to stutter a tiny bit. Yeah, he's not going to be able to take a huge risk to this Oxer. Oh. Double pumping behind. Okay. The good news is he's gotten the hard turns out of the way, so now he can just open up the gallop.
Now it's time for the running part.
Yeah, you can also see he's not going absolutely mad. He's probably still conscious that the horse is not quite in peak form yet. He doesn't want to take too much risk, but still gets it done. I mean, he's
He's in the lead.
1.8 seconds faster, more or less. Yeah, you could tell the horse was second guessing itself a tiny bit. Henrik, being the professional that he is, really put pressure at the right moments to make sure that King Edward didn't put the brakes on. There you can see he drops his back legs in between the oxer and pulls him back out. I mean, that was a really, really tight turn, though. Yeah, sets another standard.
We will see. It is into the lead now. 2 gone. Henrik von Eckermann and with their King Edward. But again, there is space.
Yeah. Yeah, that first 10 there from fence 1 to 2 in the jump off just looked slightly underpaced for a jump off. It allowed him to turn really short on the backside, but I wonder if a horse with a bigger stride could do the 9 there without getting such a big jump over the Hermes Oxer and swinging you wide for your rollback.
Big moment for Emily Conter. And after a brilliant performance in the Nations Cup last week, she gets in the spotlight once again, this time with the Stefex tables. Portobello van der Fruitkorf. Can she get this done? She goes with a good slice at the first.
2, 3. Yeah, she does the 10, but does it with a little bit more pace. Stays just a hair wider than Henrik, but never slows down there. Henrik got a bit of an up and down jump there on the vertical. Also very smooth here. Awesome. Does the 8. I think she's up. Come on.
It's looking good.
Yep.
She has a chance here, Emily Conter. And can she take a good advantage of it? Brilliant performance last week to build on now. Chase the finish.
Come on.
All the way for Emily. And time should be good.
She's got it.
Good.
Yeah.
It is going to be 42, 43.
Sister Zoe jumping up and down there. That was really well executed. Well done.
Brilliantly done, Emily Conter. Delight for her. This is one of her biggest performances yet as she goes into the lead. 42-43 for Emily, ahead of Henrik von Eckermann. Can they hold on to it? Whatever they do, it has been a superb performance by them this week.
Yeah, she's been riding so well. Her, along with her sister Zoe, have made huge strides in their development over the last couple of years. I mean, it's rare that you say a young rider had a smoother jump off than the #1 in the world, but that's exactly what she just did.
24-year-old Emily Conter, 25-year-old Harry Charles, and Sherlock for Great Britain, now Olympic team gold medalist. And with the ride of Sherlock tonight, can they unlock the clues here for the pairing that won the London Grand Prix last year as part of the Global Champions Tour? They've been World Cup winners in La Coruña. They have the ingredients. Now, he's just really been stepping back into the 5 stars with this horse, but it's a long-time partnership now. They have the ingredients.
For sure. I mean, Harry would have watched Emily at the in-gate there. He probably knows exactly what he needs to do, and now it just boils down to coming out and actually doing it. 3, 4, 5, 6. Also the 10. That was great.
Good slice.
Yeah. He gets away from that vertical well. So much of what you do in the jump off is in your landing, right? You got to land, get away from the jump, and then that just sets you up for not having to make too big of an adjustment to the next. This is a spot where I thought Emily was a hair conservative. She needed to slow down just to balance up. If Harry can just catch this out of stride, he also needed to. And see how he jumped to the outside of that line?
Harry Charles
with
a chance. With a chance. Is it enough? No.
No. Yeah,
43-33.
Yeah, it's too bad. Still, a great night of show jumping. I mean, he's got to be thrilled with that. That might end up on the podium. If he's unlucky, it won't. But a good, solid double clear.
Into second spot for Harry Charles and Sherlock. Emily Conter leading with Portobello on 42-43. King Edwards and 43-88 with Henrik von Eckermann.
The ticker is a little deceptive here. It looks like you're going to be under, and then it just kind of turns red, and you end up just outside the time. Yeah.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Nearly.
I think it really is going to boil down to how daring you want to be after your double galloping across that ring. And the more, the more thought you can put into that vertical where you almost want to swing past your turn and come back on it from right to left so that you're going in the direction of the last jump. I think that's going to make a big difference for the riders tonight. It seems like so far everybody's been kind of cutting in, jumping it left to right, and ending up really wide and not on the most direct track to the last jump. At the end of the day, those little tenths of a second will make a big difference.
Katie Diner, Jordan Coyle and Darragh Kenny left to go. Katie, the first of those with Out of the Blue SCF. World Cup winners before now. Can she pull it off against Emily Conte? Emily's leading time of 42.43 at the moment. So Emily Conte stays in the lead.
What a result that would be for her.
She's still got Jordan Coyle and Darragh Kenny coming.
Yeah,
but she's on the podium.
She's on the podium, and she's put quite a bit of pressure on them because you still have to jump these jumps clear. I mean, these verticals are tall. It doesn't look like he really skinnied up that Liverpool Oxer very much for the jump off, so that takes a little bit of jumping. So yeah, I mean, it's going to take some beating, that's for sure.
44.17 and into 5th place there for Katie Dynan. Emily Conte leads. Harry Charles in 2nd. Henrik van Eckermann top 3 so far. 2 left to go. Jordan Coyle and Darragh Kenny. So Katie Dynan heading on out, as you say, Niall. It's very easy to just drop a rail here as well. But the 2 Irishmen to take a big shot at this Bainbridge Grand Prix. Jordan Coyle, penultimate combination to go in the jump off the Land Farms Chacolino. Darragh Kenny then will go last with 0K. What I would say here, Niall, and see whether you agree with me, he plotted his way around the first round well.
Yeah.
Whether he can keep that package together for this jump off, I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I wouldn't have seen this combination in too many jump offs. I see he's riding in a hackamore that's generally makes it more difficult to steer. This is a big horse, though, with a lot of stride. I'm curious to see what he does here in this first line, if he's going to go for that 9 or maybe bow out the 10 a little bit more so he doesn't have to slow down too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Yeah, and he does it slowing down so he can still turn up sharp. Oh, that's good. He's up. He needs to hustle. Go. Horse. I was going to say it is also a bit slower moving than Emily's horse. Spends a little more time in the air. Wasn't actually sure if he was going to catch her, but now that he's had one, he's probably going to slow down a little bit. Take another one on his way. Emily Conte is 1 horse away from winning her first 5-star Grand Prix.
She is 1 horse away. Jordan Coyle there finishing on 8:43.27. Jordan Coyle and Chacolino. Emily Conte still leads, as you see from the leaderboard. Harry Charles 2nd, Henrik van Eckermann 3rd. Those are the 3 on the podium. The fences drop.
Yep. Yeah, the pressure starts to build. You realize, you have to jump a clear round here if you want a good piece of this prize. And yeah, it's they're paying the price.
Final rider to go is one not to be underestimated by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
Darragh Kenny, winner of the Grand Prix qualifier earlier on this week. Newer partnership with 0K. Can they do it? Here is last to go into this Bainbridge 5-star Grand Prix tonight. Emily Conte looking for her first 5-star Grand Prix win. Will she be denied by the Irish Olympian? We will see. Time to beat is 42.43. Into the unknown.
Here we go. Oh, wow.
Whoa. Whoa. Not even sure how they did that.
I have no idea how he got over that.
No, don't do that again.
No. You have to take a little time there to square up.
Started fast. Have they lost a little bit? Little touch
there. Now he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go.
There's whistles, there's chasing. They've got about 10 seconds to get back. I don't know. I know now. It's going to go Emily Conte's way. Congratulations to her. Wow. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Well deserved, too. She rode 2 great rounds.
41.99. Time was good enough there from Darragh Kenny, but a fence down on the way means it's a win for Emily Conter, and it's the biggest win of her career so far.
Unreal.
Wow.
Unreal.
Look here.
Yeah, just came up on the inside. Yeah, like we said, that's a spot where you almost want to overshoot your turn to make sure your horse doesn't come in on the inside shoulder or take the room away from you and get you underneath it. That's a very tall vertical at the end of a jump off, and it kind of forces you to jump in the opposite direction of where you're trying to go. I'm sure he wants that one back, but unfortunately you don't get it.
You don't get it. What you do get is your winner, Emily Conter. Congratulations to them. I know Dad will be going mad, and the whole family watching there as well.
Yeah, as they should be. This was huge.
Wonderful.
Huge.
Wonderful. Huge success from Emily Conter. Harry Charles finishing in second with Sherlock. Henry van Eckermann, King Edward solidly again into third. Gains him a few points again on that the world #1 spot. Tom Washman, brilliant performance from the 19-year-old Tabasco de Toxal said. Super round from him to go clear to finish into 4th place. Darragh Kenny giving it every effort to be top 5 with 0K, and Katie Dynan finishing in 6th place with Out of the Blue SCF. We're heading for the presentations, and we're going to be back in just a moment.
Parents has used their pet's name as their password.
System hacked. System hacked. System hacked.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way to show your love.
I think I found them.
Really?
Making your dog your ring bearer is one way to show your love.
Car part. It's just a car part, look it.
But delicious Caesar canine cuisine is a better way.
We fly horses anywhere around the world, whether it is a hobby horse or it's an Olympic champion. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely, in best of health, and in the quickest possible of time. We understand the business better than anybody else. We do not leave any stone unturned, and we are staffed by horse people from every layer of the company. We give horses wings around the world, across the globe, or across the street.
Welcome back, readying for the presentation of the Bainbridge 5-star Grand Prix tonight. Congratulations to Emily Conter. We're going to be catching up with her as well as we get ready for presentations, inviting people into the ring as well to come and see it all unfold. It's going to be an exciting conclusion. What a night for her. Nan Nassar alongside me as well, who's been commentating this. He, an Olympic rider and big Grand Prix winner himself. There's just going to be elation amongst the team there.
Wow, I mean, I'm speechless. I've been saying it from the beginning of the circuit that those girls have been riding exceptionally well. I mean, this was no fluke. There was no luck involved. She rode a foot perfect first round and then came back and rode a determined jump off that put the pressure on all these other riders who are probably higher ranked than she is. And she pulled it out the bag today. I mean, that was impressive.
Certainly did, and super success, as you say, building on that we had. The two Conter sisters, I feel like we're talking more like tennis now.
I know.
As Zoe and Emily went so superbly into the Nations Cup as well.
Yep.
And that was a brilliant run from them, and she's really built on that here. And Zoe was watching from the sideline. Let's take a look at the winning round of Emily Conter and Portobello.
Yep.
Niall, take over from
here.
here.
So great angle on the first. She does this 10, but she never has to slow down in it, which, is a bit of a function of her horse's stride. Again, keeps her rhythm beautifully in this turn, never pulls on the reins, lands, gets away from the jump, which is what we were talking about earlier, keeps driving the horse through the turn, gets the perfect angle there, gets a great jump, moves up again so that she can wait for the 8, gets that done, jumps out super easily. Again, she gets forward in her jockey position. She lets the horse gallop away from the jump. She sets up here, makes sure she gets the right angle. You were seeing a lot of people land like way out to the right there. She doesn't do that. She gets the most direct line as possible to the last, takes a bit of a breather halfway through, and then just punches it, to the last and gets a flyer, runs through the timers. I mean, that was a hard jump off to beat on any day. She really deserved that, and I'm just really thrilled for the whole family, the whole team. Here she is taking her moment of glory. Really well deserved. I mean, a great class, really great class.
Yeah, victory gallop for Emily Conter, beaming ear to ear, quite rightly.
Crying. I mean, she should be. That was really a remarkable performance. And again, you probably never would have picked this combination out, not because they don't have the ingredients, but just because of who else was on the list.
You had 6 of the top 10 in the world, and you went that your natural look is towards that direction.
Yeah. But that's what makes our sports, so exciting, so engaging. There's just so unpredictable, and it's the easiest sport for the favorite to lose in, right? And and so we were treated to a great class tonight, great course building, a lot of great jumping. Some people had some trouble there, which always keeps us on the edge of our seats. But no disasters, no falls, no big crashes. So I think it was a great night for show jumping, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
She's just getting a photo with all of the farriers because there's the literally line of them, because they present the Cappy Kaplan trophy in memory, and
very cool.
That has been a lovely success. Now we're going to invite those on the sidelines to come into the ring for the presentation as well, so they can get up close and personal, see the champagne, may even get a little spray in there. Don't worry, sorry if you do get wet. But well done to Emily Conter. Brilliant success. And of course, to our top 3, to be joined by Harry Charles and Henrik von Eckermann. Whatever day it is, when you get ahead of Henrik and King Edward.
Yeah, 2 gold medalists. Yeah.
And Groom's Award being presented as well to the leading groom. And of course, the mainstream munches going to the horse as well there to Portobello. But Lisa Sorg, who's the groom to the horse as well, gets $500 from Double H Farm for their Groom Award too. So very well done to
nice
them.
Initiative there, yeah. Yeah, it's been great to see the grooms get a little more spotlight in this sport. They do so much for the horses and riders, and they never get any glory. So just a nice way for Double H to recognize all the work that goes into, these great performances.
Heading down for the presentation, to say, ring now filling up with those around coming in to the ring itself to watch, and is going to go down and also have a chat with Ali Wolf. So, Ali, it's down to you.
Hey, I'm down here with Emily Conter, winners of our $500,000 Bainbridge 5-star Grand Prix. What an incredible win. Might I just say the competition was stiff against world number 1. Can you talk us through your round? Where do you think that you made up the time where others could not?
To be honest, when I went in my course, I actually added twice. I wasn't supposed to do that, but she was super quick off the floor, and I think to the last line, I made up some time, and I saw a really big one. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take it, keep going, and she was great, yeah.
And the crowd was completely with you on that one. Can you talk us through this amazing atmosphere as we watch tonight? What does that feel like to you under the lights with a huge crowd competing here?
It's a really good feeling walking in here with so much atmosphere and so many people watching. It gives you that extra adrenaline, and then when you can go clear, the feeling is, you cannot describe it. It's so nice.
You've been knocking at the door for a while now. This is your first 5-star Grand Prix win. What an accomplishment. What does this win mean to you and your team?
My team is amazing. We all worked so hard to get here. I'm super surprised I won, but we every week got better with the mare, so she's maturing, and my team is great around her, so really thankful.
Emily, congratulations once again. An amazing win. I hope you celebrate well tonight. Thank you so much.
So hear from Emily, and there we see everybody heading down into the ring. They get lots of goodies too, and getting ready for the presentation here. Niall, that's a really lovely moment, and I know the family will be joining in that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so great to see her get her first 5-star win in class, huh?
I know Dad's been here, and her grandparents have actually were here in the last couple of weeks. I'm not sure whether they're here tonight, but I know they'll all have been watching. And a big shout to all of you back at home, Stefek's team there as well. I know this will be a big one for you back in Belgium, so I know the roars will be going on in the rooms back at home, screaming at the television there. So congratulations to you guys there. Lots of goodies. They're going to get some autographs probably down there as well. So if you are here into the stadium on a Saturday night, that's a new thing that we're doing now.
Yeah, I like that.
So you can bring that in.
Yeah.
Go and watch. Go and get involved in the presentations.
Yeah,
down
it brings
there.
a little more life to it. It's nice.
And so setting up for the presentation here tonight, and huge thanks to Bainbridge. And coming forward and making the presentations, Jennifer and Richard Schechter, Chairman and CEO of the Bainbridge Companies. And Richard is that, accompanied by Jennifer, alongside to present the awards here tonight. And two of our three onto the podium. It just remains for the highest step to be filled by Emily Conter of Belgium. And Murray Kessler there, CEO of Wellington International, giving congratulations to. Harry Charles there finishing into second spot with Sherlock. Henrik von Eckermann in third with the great King Edward. Surrounded by the faces and getting ready for the national anthem of our winner. I think she's still in a little bit of disbelief.
I was going to say, she still looks a little confused to be up there. But
I'm between two Olympic gold medalists.
Yeah, exactly. So well deserved. This will sink in as the night goes on, and she'll wake up tomorrow and understand, what she was able to do last night. That was really awesome.
Yeah. And so getting ready for the national anthem. Congratulations to Emily Conter for Belgium. Congratulations to Emily Conter, and champagne time. Oh!
Hey.
Well, they won't mind that one little bit. Down there, take a slug. There you go.
Here we go.
They're 24 and 25. It's okay.
Yeah.
And Henrik, I think, is allowed as well, so that's just fine too. So congratulations to them. Wonderful way to finish the night for this Bainbridge $500,000 class. Nael Nasser joining me throughout the night. Nael, that was a really interesting Grand Prix.
Very interesting Grand Prix, which I think is typical of Alan Wade's courses, right? It's it's hard to predict who's going to jump clear. We saw a lot of favorites kind of fall by the wayside, and a few surprises get through. But at the end of the day, we still had great sport. The horses jumped really well. There were no disasters tonight, and everybody who rode well and whose horses jumped well were rewarded with a spot in that jump off. And I think we had a very deserving winner tonight.
Great to see King Edward in there, but Emily Conter is going to be the queen of the night tonight for this Bainbridge $500,000 Grand Prix. And success in the first round, brilliant success in the second, and Harry Charles in the frame with Sherlock there as he starts to make his presence felt on the 5 stars. As I say, it was interesting to see many, apart from the world number one, the rest of the group from the top 10, 5 of the top 10, drop away tonight. But then it was some changes of horses, it was some changes in the setups.
Definitely, yeah. Also rare to see so many of the top riders go in the first half of the class, right? I think it definitely makes a difference at this level when you can watch a little bit more and understand the intricacies of the course a little bit more. It just puts you in a better position to jump clear.
There we go.
There we go, some autograph signing.
A star is definitely born. Lots of autographs down there.
100%,
for our winner, Emily Conte. There's just behind signing autographs too is... of course, Henrik von Eckermann, the world winner. But she doesn't know what to do. She's like, okay, I'm just going being
This is great, though. Like, what a great initiative, like from the management to allow some of the crowds to get up and close and personal with the riders, get their things signed. Yeah, this is great. This makes our sport look like, you know, the real deal.
Excellent. Good. Delighted with that. Lots of T-shirts to sign down there as well. And success for our top 3. The under-25s coming to the top here tonight, and it's been great to see so much youth in there, Niall, and it gives us plenty of good feelings for the future.
For sure, bright future ahead for this sport with so many talented young riders who are already stepping up to the highest level and proving that they really belong. Here we can get another look at Emily's jump off. I think it was just so smooth the whole way around. You know, she never smooth as fast, right?
Yes.
And she never pulled on the reins. She made a really concerted effort to get away in her landings, right? Like right here, she's already motoring before she starts her turn, and so she doesn't have to do anything.
Well, a great result for Emily Conte. Fantastic for there. As she signs the final autographs, it remains for me to say thank you to Niall Nasser, who's been alongside me tonight. I've been Steve Wild, staying so long from Wellington International. Tonight's a big winner, Emily Conte, of the $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix. And reminder, all sport airing on ESPN networks is streaming live and archived on ESPN app as well. We'll see you soon here from Wellington. Thank you for joining us.